All of that said, and I don't think you can be both a fan of both of those things and watch that game. And I don't even understand what tensions must roil within you when all of that happens if you're a fan of both teams.
We got a quarterback, Dan.
But the
which one?
Justin Fields.
I legitimately didn't know who you were talking about. I legitimately didn't know whether you were talking about.
Wow, the rare game you're watching where you figure out you have a quarterback but he loses and yet you win.
Win-win, lose-lose game.
Wow.
Exactly.
Oh,
The end of the game when
a special
when the
night
Bears
for you,
went up.
Smetty.
Also, I predicted exactly what was going to happen in this game before it happened. I said the Steelers scored on their opening drive.
Not on air, you didn't, right? Not publicly.
On Twitter.
You just
privately.
Okay.
I did the SmetanningCast, Dan, because it was the Bears versus the Steelers, right? Half my family's in Chicago, half my family's in Pittsburgh.
What are you
#SmetanningCast.
putting your head in your hands about, Billy?
#SmetanningCast. You can follow along on Twitter. Relive the moments with me as I watched them live. I actually fell asleep for the entire halftime and third quarter on Monday, but that's besides the point.
Mm-hmm.
The games are very late, and daylight saving, it doesn't help.
You're very young.
That is true also. But I wake up early for this show so I can be on time. But even if we're not on time now, Mike doesn't get mad. So it's all
right.
good.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with this other than
SmetanningCast.
I predicted what was going to happen before it happened. I said the Steelers were going to score on their opening drive, which they did. And then they're probably not going to do anything till the end of the game. They're going to let the Bears back in it, which happened. And then they're somehow going to win by 2 points. The Bears are going to do almost nothing the entire game, but Justin Fields is going to have one incredible play. That is exactly what happened.
You are too young to become Tony Kornheiser and be the person after the game who does the I told you so recap of analysis. I told you guys, you don't really believe that you knew there was going to be an opening drive score.
Well, I
right?
actually didn't predict that part. I predicted it after the opening drive score.
That's okay.
Excellent.
That
Nice.
is a good way.
That's how you do it.
That is a good way to do it. I am with Jessica, though, Mike, and I believe while you have taken back and retracted your apology and you have submitted
and then
instead,
doubled down.
Well, he submitted an apology for his apology, forever
And I
apologizing.
believe I challenged the Jokic brothers to a fight as well.
A kickboxing fight.
Sorry, not sorry.
I just burned my hand quite badly with scalding water.
And you think that the
Tough.
Jokic brothers are soft.
See, dangerous game.
But here, look, I'm playing through it. All right,
I tried yesterday
let's see them do that.
to briefly push back on everybody with, Morris started it. And I'm telling you today that I think the suspension of one game is fair, but I want to go back in time for a second and analyze when and how and why, with no degree of self-awareness, did we become the Law and Order show? Like that, how does that happen with none? How does it take Jessica to be outside the show to notice what's happening inside the show, which is we are louder and more zealous and more emotional and more petulant about what happened between Jokic and Morris than Spoelstra was, than Morris was, that we seem to have been personally behaved.
No one cared more than us.
Then our show cared the most about how wrong that was.
Accountability isn't such a bad thing, Dan. Problem with this country, a lot of people aren't held accountable for their actions.
Is that the problem with this
Really?
country?
Oh, I can draw a lot of analogies that make a lot of people uncomfortable with what Jokic got away with.
Is that the problem with this country? That's the one. If we could fix that one, if we could somehow have Jokic and Morris get along, get up and hug each other, America would be fine.
I can boil all of our country's problems down to Tony Corrente.
I mean, you guys were like, he should get assignments taken away. He should never be able to ref the Super Bowl. I agree. It was a terrible call.
No, but Jessica,
it's
not.
terrible.
No, but it's not. It's not.
But you guys wanted blood. You wanted a pound of flesh.
Jessica,
Someone wanted him executed.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
It was you, Billy.
Yes, Billy has been doing this lately. This is the latest move. Say
that's
the
right.
outlandish thing and then object to it later and
Dan
hope
said
nobody remembers. Yes, that says.
Try to remember
I'm
who
gonna
said
get
it.
aggregated at some point by Breitbart on it. Batard says Corrente should be executed. It's going to happen eventually.
I believe my skin is bubbling.
I can't tell if Brett Michaels is Brett Michaels or someone dressed up as Brett Michaels. He's on God Bless Football, or not God Bless, Good Morning Football.
Oh, wow.
Put it on the poll. Is Brett Michaels, does Brett Michaels look like Brett Michaels, or does Brett Michaels look like someone dressed as Brett Michaels?
What's the ruling on Brett Michaels wearing a Poison t-shirt? Because it's
He's
been
always
said.
Where
wearing
else do you
one.
know him from?
It's been said. Well, I know him from that dating show on VH1.
Exactly.
Obviously, the
Where else?
headband to hide his receding hairline.
It reminds me, Mike, of the commercial with Tag Team in it where
That's
they
reckless.
Geico?
Guys, come on. You don't know about? Come on.
It's obvious that he's been wearing the bandana forever to conceal. It's the
Why
same
anybody
reason.
wears it?
It's the
I don't
same
know
reason.
about
wears
that.
a
Like Hulk
bandana.
Hogan, yeah.
Hulk Hogan wore it to court with
not
a
sure
suit.
about Hulk Hogan either.
With a suit when he was
All right,
bankrupting
let's-
Gawker.
Yeah, but
Oh.
it was
Like,
Dan.
No, he
Dan.
didn't.
I don't know
Dan.
about
It
that.
was.
No, he didn't.
It
He
was
just
a,
bend over. I see the top of his head. It looks fine.
no. It was a black bandana, which signified it was appropriate for court. Get that right? That's why when Hulk Hogan goes to funerals, he wears a black bandana.
What's
seen
with the
photos.
missing
Let's
T?
just use the word
Respect.
allegedly while we're discussing.
No, we've done this show.
Asterisks,
We've
asterisks.
done this show before. We've shamed Bret Michaels this way. I believe we've asked Bret Michaels about this, but the tag team commercial for Geico, where they have to explain to you that hey, it's tag team, where they have to say it out loud. I think they're also wearing it on their shirts. I believe that's what Bret Michaels is doing by wearing the poison shirt. He's reminding everybody, hey, I just know that I am that guy you think I am.
Also, he has a very deep V to make room for his jewelry. Did you see this with Kyler Murray over the weekend on the sideline? He has a team-issued hoodie, but I have the very same hoodie in a Browns fashion. It goes right up to the neck. But he spends a lot of money on ice. A lot of money. So he just started having a deeper V. As the game progressed, the V got deeper, and he started putting on more jewelry. I thought it was like a sight gag that he was doing.
That didn't happen.
I swear to God.
You think that
He had a V. He cut it into a V so you could see his jewelry.
during the game,
Like he started on the sidelines, and you're like, oh, he fashioned his hoodie to a deeper V. Maybe people are like that. You know, they don't like their throat feeling constricted. And then the V started getting deeper as the game progressed because I started seeing more and more jewelry.
I love this as art. The more threatened he gets by Colt McCoy actually also having success with his offense, the more shine he needs on the sidelines. Like that's a little bit of art right there. He's watching. Wait a minute, Colt McCoy just did that to San Francisco. I suppose we got something we didn't talk about yesterday.
There's no way that he is sweating Colt McCoy. I mean, I
I'm
don't
not,
get.
No. I'm not saying sweating Colt McCoy. I'm saying being threatened by the public perception of how much do they need the MVP over there if they're that good anyway with Colt McCoy. If they can drag a 5-point favorite,
Fair.
it's not
Okay.
actually threatened by Colt McCoy, but the national perception that he has to change of this team is the best in the league with Kyler Murray, and it's still really good without Kyler Murray.
It's a humbling experience. It is.
Did you see, Mike, as part of that Heat Utah game that Donovan Mitchell and the Ringer did something on this? Other things about the Heat that are different other than Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry put up an 0 for 8. And
Nobody's
He
happier.
does that occasionally, though.
Nobody's happier that
Mm.
Jokic did that stuff than Kyle Lowry.
Well, Toronto fans are also noticing the emotion in how we talk about Kyle Lowry now versus how we talked about him when he was a playoff failure and was the enthusiasm. Yes, they're noticing the tone
They
difference.
failed.
I
That's
said-
why we said it, though.
Me specifically, because I said I'll grow to respect his game. I'm still skeptical on Kyle Lowry. I do like his dishes, though. We've upgraded at the position,
Well,
but I'm
he's-
not like this huge Kyle Lowry
He's
fan.
sped up their pace, like I told you. Second worst in the league. They run, they play now, they play fast, but other changes that they've made, there's a handful of them detailed by the Ringer, and they're just evolutions of Spoelstra that you might not even notice while you're watching, that they're doing, that the league is caught up to all that handoff stuff that they were doing with Duncan Robinson, and they just start doing a lot less of it. But one of the things that I had not seen in the story was Donovan Mitchell talking about Bam Adebayo
Mhm.
and telling Bam, you've got to start shooting threes. Like, what are you doing? And Bam's like, no. And Bam is at that spot. Remember, we talked once upon a time about how well Chris Bosh's game would have evolved and just some of the stupidity involved with LaMarcus Aldridge was taking all of these 20-footers and what he needed to do to change his game. The evolution he needed to make is just make your range 2 feet more,
Right.
and you can be a player who's more versatile with a shot that's worth more. Donovan Mitchell is telling Bam, take more threes. You're taking more jumpers. You notice that, right? Part of his more aggression is that he's just simply taking that shot. If they slack off him, he's still not making it with great efficiency. But if they slack off him, he's at least taking the mid-range shot. Had you guys seen Donovan Mitchell urging Bam?
I've seen a couple people urging. This was something that Eric Spoelstra was asked about in preseason, and he said it's not something that we're going to make him do. I see him in practice. He makes a corner three as good as anybody on the team, though. So you would love.
But why not make him do it then? Like Mike, if the game's evolving in that way,
he's still evolving.
No, but I think Donovan Mitchell is saying that because he sees a player who can actually go out there and hit a three with practice, with work. So he's saying, "Hey, Bam, get out there and do it. You can do it."
Do you know where the Miami Heat are?
And the Heat don't have a ton of I mean, they have Hero off the bench. They have Duncan Robinson. They have Lowry, but Larry's capable of going 0 for 8. He's done it 2 of the last 3 games.
PJ Tucker is basically here just to shoot corner threes.
You're right.
And he's shooting. That's all he takes.
Not the guy you want shooting corner threes historically, just because of one very public failure on his resume. Do you know who's dead last in 3-point attempts?
Bam.
No, yeah, well, no. I mean, as a team, it's the Miami Heat.
The Duncan Robinson thing gets neutered a little bit once you take off some of, like they do need to. There's been an evolution to counter what they were doing with Duncan Robinson, and so Miami's counter is to also evolve. Oh, that handoff play. This is something Budenholzer.
You're talking about the handoff play that they ran in the bubble, right?
They were just running it all season. It wasn't just in the bubble. They were using those that play a lot where you just set the screen with the handoff.
A bunch of teams that you wouldn't expect are near the bottom in 3-point attempts per game. Hawks, Heat, Suns.
Well, the Knicks are great at threes this year.
Yep.
Yeah, they attempt a lot. I mean, they attempt about 7 more a game than the Miami Heat.
But they're also shooting it better by percentage, are they not? I thought that the Knicks were, out of nowhere, one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league.
They added Kemba Walker. Randall's decent from 3.
They're shooting 36.5% from 3. It's
pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Yeah.
Reminding you of the days of Steve Novak. Do you guys realize that
Steve Novak?
Do you realize that we have been watching that the way the sport changed, Mike, basically right in front of our eyes was during, I believe it was an Eastern Conference final against the Celtics, where all of a sudden in a Game 7, Chris Bosh is returning to hit enormous threes from the corner. And you're like, wait a minute, when did he start doing that? When was Chris Bosh somebody who took a bunch of threes? Like, he might make one to beat Portland every once in a while, but not as like, oh, he's going to return and they're going to put Chris Bosh in the corner and he's going to shoot the corner 3. I don't know if I bore the audience with this kind of talk, Stugotz. I know that they get bothered very often when I'm talking about sport evolutions, but it's just so strange to be able to identify where and how a sport changes right in front of your eyes, and to embrace those changes, Stugotz, because a lot of people who love basketball really don't like that many of the broadcasters don't seem to love basketball, that they come from a different time, they played a different way, and like Shaq, they tell everybody, no, the way to play is the way that I play. So many of the announcers, so many of the coaches come from a different time that it doesn't seem like they love the aesthetics of what we're watching, the same way that the people who are watching appreciate, like, oh shit, this thing totally changed while I was watching, and I embrace the change. I don't reject it.
But I don't blame them, Dan. There are arguments to be made both ways. Like, it was like back in the 80s and 90s when I was growing up watching basketball, like Celtics, Lakers, physical play, the Knicks and the Bulls, Patrick Ewing and Charles Barkley and Malone, and the way they play was charming when you think about it back then. And now the game has evolved so far away from what it is they were calling, where it's just, hey, who can hit the most threes? I don't blame them. Like, I don't blame broadcasters who don't like today's product. I've grown to like it. I did not like it at first. I did not. If you remember, Dan, I rejected the Warriors at first. Like, I didn't like it. It was too easy.
I would say to you, though, Stugotz, that while you can and while the audience can understand and say, hey, I'm with the broadcasters on that.
Right.
it's probably not something that you want on your broadcasts if you're the league trying to sell a product and wanting to keep it growing.
Boredom.
In a time when a lot of people are competing for your attention. I'm not even talking about boredom. I'm talking about if I'm a league sponsor, if I'm someone who's creating the telecast, if I'm somebody who's a partner with the league, I wouldn't have so many people broadcasting games who don't seem to like it the way that I do. It's not about the emotion of it. Joe Buck gets enough for being kind of flatlined and indifferent, or in some instances, even though he's flatlined and indifferent, you think he's choosing the other team because of the emotions we're talking about here that make Mike crazy about Jokic and the University of Miami.
I thought I cooled it a little bit. I said, I'm sorry. Keith had a hard foul and deserved some retribution. Just not that type of retribution.
10 games you wanted to penalize.
Was it
him.
Tone?
I didn't even hear you. I thought you were...
Maybe it was something that I was thinking and didn't actually say.
No, you said it.
I said 10.
If he said 10 games,
yeah.
I feel like I would have been like, what are you talking about?
I said I did allude to the fact that I had my doubts as to whether or not Jokic would be available for the November 29th game.
Well, it's when you go on Twitter and you see what Cortes is saying, and then you hear Mike say 10 games. 10 games doesn't sound that unreasonable when you're reading Ryan Cortez's
I thought I was the most reasonable
Wait a
on
minute,
it.
but Ryan Cortes was saying somebody should have shivved Jokic. Like he's not. Nobody should listen to him. No one.
Well, I
should.
agree. I'm not. That is not my point.
I thought I was
Yes.
exercising that very same principle, Dan. I thought I was a rational one.
He was
by
out there
comparison.
yesterday in his Heat jersey saying, everyone's talking about these Jokic brothers. What about me? I'm Udonis's brother. What if somebody should fear him coming up to one of these guys' kneecaps and biting them on the knee, Dan Campbell style?
I want nothing to do with any of this. I'm glad I was gone yesterday for this entire conversation.
Billy, can you give me your honest assessment of Ryan Cortes, Parakeet Cortes, whose Heat homerism somehow dwarfs Mike Ryan's annoying Heat homerism?
My assessment of him? I mean, he's not a real Heat fan. We've discussed this. He just does it when the lights are on. But in preseason games, he doesn't pay attention to those. He doesn't seem to care. Only when it's Heat SZN is he there from full force trying to annoy everybody for attention. If we're going to be honest, that's what's going on with him.
Cortes, would you like to defend yourself from the shadows?
Jesus.
It's been a long time since we've
I mean,
heard.
We should not platform
He plays
Cortes
around.
right now.
He does it for free merch. Like, let's be real. We know what the angle is.
Nothing
here.
wrong with that, by the way.
We should embolden him because he was trying to be helpful yesterday. He sent a note, check out who Cassius Marsh's dad is. Unfortunately, that was an hour too late before I read that chat. And he's added some very good supplemental info right now. The Heat do not play fast for what it's worth. Your eyes are lying to you. They are below average in pace. It looks fast because of the full court passes. They rank 28th in the NBA in pace as of this morning.
Since when? When did that change on me? I thought
This
the first
morning.
6
Yeah,
games.
just this morning,
One
yeah.
game, man.
I
Gotta
thought
keep
the
up. It's a
first
fast
6
game.
games of the
Yeah.
season that they were playing faster than everybody else. How is that possible?
Game's evolving, Dan.
I thought through 6 games, I didn't even see the Utah game. Was that played so slow that
That's
they went
where it
from,
all went the other
they
way,
went
Dan.
from
Yeah.
top of the league? What do you mean? They went from top of the league to slow in pace? I was getting drunk at the Moss event, so I didn't see Utah. That's
They
how
really slowed it up against the Jazz. I mean, it's what you got to do against that team. Yeah.
Go ahead, Cortes. What do you have for us? Who gets hit with some shrapnel from Parakeet Cortes here?
What's up, bro? You rang? Nah, bro. Yesterday I had to mute all of Denver fans. Like I got 800 replies.
Right.
They think I'm legit serious, which I am, by the way. Nikola Jokic dead to me. I'm flying in for November 29th. I'm sitting behind the Heat bench. Sit me next to those brothers. Try and do that shit in Miami. I fucking dare you. This isn't Denver.
You look like one of the brothers.
Mark that. No, people said I look like Ryan Russillo, which offends me because I hate Ryan Russillo.
Oh,
You
no.
look like Brett Michaels without the headband.
Why do you hate Russillo?
What did he do?
Why
Don't
are
get me
your
started on
sunglasses
Russillo.
so
He said some
big?
racist stuff.
Your sunglasses are getting bigger.
Yeah.
So look, the thing with the sunglasses is these are an exclusive. People have mocked my sunglasses. Go to hell. They're from Amazon. They're $14. They take a lot of money. It takes 2-day shipping. They're sold out from what I'm told because some
Right.
people have tried to do it. Jessica, get up off the floor. I'm being very serious right now. Enough.
Did you call Russillo a racist?
It did sound. He's coming on very strong.
Ryan Russillo, look into my eyes.
Oh, no.
Screw you, bro.
Oh,
I don't
no.
appreciate what you said about George Floyd.
No.
I really don't. I'm being 100% serious. Let's continue with Nikola Jokic.
Wait a minute. What are you doing throwing politics in the middle of sports?
Bro, I could do any subject. People think they put me in this box. Oh, I could only talk Miami Heat. Any subject in the world. You want to talk Florida Panthers? Best hockey team in the league.
Not lately.
Just not in the
What was
New
the
York
score
area.
last night?
I had someone tell me you're not even from Miami. You're from Tampa.
That's
wow.
Lorenzo. Look, I may have a Tampa phone number. That's neither here nor there. I'm from Miami, bro.
You're not even 305.
Tampa test.
The 813.
Wait a minute. I think that if you say that's neither here nor there, no, I'm pretty sure it's not here and is there.
Bro, somebody in my mentions yesterday said I'm 5'7" with a body like a croqueta. They thought that hurt me. Croquetas are delicious. Are you saying that I'm tasty? That I taste good? That I'm a flat croqueta? I don't
Love
care.
croquetas.
You can't pronounce
Wow.
the word. I
Really?
don't want to hear you say the word ever again. It offends me.
Croqueta?
Stop saying it.
Okay, Parakeet. Thank you,
Rare
sir.
form. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. Put Nikola Jokic in jail. I'll see you November 29th.
It was a pleasure.
Stugotz, you haven't gotten into Succession yet, huh? On HBO. It's been
No.
it's been a long time since I've seen a television show that's this artful, this well done, this capable of confusing you about is this a drama or is this a comedy? Because the acting and the writing and the cinematography is so good, and it's about something that seems to lure people all of the time, which is riches, wealth. Opulence that's absurd, but what it's really about at its core is family dynamics. And rare is the show that you love like this, although I think HBO probably invented the genre of making you love artful shows where you can't root for any of the characters. You're amused by how awful all of them are and how greed corrupts and how awful this family is and their family dynamics. And there's not anybody I'm rooting for, but the show overall has all of these unlikable characters while also achieving the thing of being a likable show.
With these Sopranos, weren't you kind of rooting for Tony, though? Like, wasn't there an element of you're rooting for that
But
guy?
this was, I think, I don't know, I'm not speaking as some sort of historian about this, but I think that began the culture of the anti-hero in television. It's one of the reasons it's viewed as such a seminal television show and one of the best ever is because they made you root for a guy who was evil, an evil criminal. They humanized him so much. They humanized a mafioso so much that they made you root for a guy who was inherently bad. And then The Shield came after
Right.
that, and Breaking Bad, and a whole bunch of. And now it populates a whole ton of television where you graduate to Dexter and everything else.
Yeah, it seems like he had to pick the best of the worst in this situation. And I think I may have picked Kendall, even though he has, he has his past with his issues with drugs. And he killed somebody, I believe, right?
Yeah,
I think he probably
Spoiler
did that in the wrong order.
It
was
really
wonderfully
summed
done.
up the whole show right
you
there.
really
I mean,
you
didn't
thundered
kill
him. You
somebody.
judged him harshly for his addictions, and then yes, somebody died on his watch.
It's more of
Spoiler
like
alert!
but you chose it.
You chose
The
somebody.
degree of manslaughter.
You chose the only one
Involuntary.
we know to have not a murder, but a death on the resume.
Well, yeah, I was rooting for Bryan Cranston and Breaking Bad. I'm rooting for Kendall right here.
I'm with Roy. Kendall's terrible, but something about, I think the show puts you in his point of view, so you see things his way, and I think it does it on purpose. I don't like him. Like the last episode where he's supposed to go on that show with Z-Way, and then he doesn't go. That's not a spoiler. Like, he's terrible. If this person existed in real life, I would be someone sending a tweet bashing them that he'd be reading in his limo and that everyone would be chanting at.
Shiv is very clearly the most capable. Also, because of gender dynamics and family dynamics, seems to not have things given to her based on merit. Also, I love Tom. So
Well, I think
want
Greg
good things to happen to those awful
Greg-
people.
Greg
I
and
think
Tom are
Greg the
one of-
Egg is like really the true hero, right? Because he's like the one you can most see yourself getting. Like he's getting swept up in all of this. He's kind of trying to do the right thing, but he doesn't know what he's doing. Like I feel like that's where we'd all be in this world.
Greg and Tom are one of the greatest comedy duos of all time. Shiv she's Australian, correct? I don't believe that she is talking in her actual accent, but that the acting on that show, I don't know who the best actor on that show is. I was assuming that I found myself, and maybe I was manipulated by the viewpoint of Kendall. I didn't notice that they were doing that, showing the show through his eyes.
Sarah
I
Snook.
just thought he was the best actor.
Sarah Snook, actress that plays Shiv, is indeed Australian.
The acting on that show is extraordinary, and one of the things they do that I have not seen done on television before is when they use the camera work and these acting skills to very much turn these adults into people who look like they're 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, that they become children in front of your eyes and you see them shrink in the presence of their father, who I'm assuming is Rupert Murdoch based. It really is.
That's a fair assumption.
It is a really.
Isn't he the best actor though? Isn't he like the actor with the best resume?
Yeah,
Yeah.
certainly the actor with the longest and best
Yes.
and most
Compiler.
celebrated.
Right.
compiler.
The cinematography makes you actually feel like you're in the room, which is why it's so great. Like I feel like I'm a fly on the wall in that situation.
I agree. It's like the little things too. Like the last episode, they had like 2 helicopters and 2 private jets on a runway. And there's just a wide angle shot of it. And it's a barren landscape. There's like really nothing to see, but it's just like, oh, that's like $1 million worth of stuff right there that they just have at their disposal. And like, it kind of just speaks for itself.
What season are they on? Because I did watch half of season 1 and I didn't get through it. So they're on the 3rd season already? Wow. And you like it that much, Dan? Because this is the first TV series you've talked about in a while, I feel like.
It's one of the best shows I've ever seen. I just started rewatching The Sopranos because this actually inspired me to do it because it's such incredibly artful television. The scene that Jessica is talking about there, it's not just that the opulence is grotesque. They could have met anywhere. They needed to do a whole bunch of tricks and jumping through hoops with helicopters to go somewhere. The rich people throwing away money in the name of ego and power is something to behold. And the show has a lot of different layers. I did not know how they were going to be able. Now, you guys know that we work with Adam McKay here, and he's one of the executive producers on the show. He doesn't make things that are bad, but he hasn't even had to do that show arrives on his desk and he's watching it the way the rest of us are watching it.
Really?
Yeah, like he's done.
He has no idea.
He is just watching it as a fan, and like he takes notes and stuff. It's not that he doesn't have an idea, but he's watching it the same way we are, marveling at how well done it is. It's not, he's helping with the making of it, but it's brought to him.
How's the rewatch going? Like, that's interesting. You're rewatching a series. How are you finding time to rewatch a series?
Totally holds up.
Wow.
Totally. The Sopranos doesn't have a lot of
Did you
holes.
rewatch Breaking Bad?
I have not watched Breaking Bad again.
Are you rewatching and applying different theories to your rewatch to see which is the most plausible theory?
On The Sopranos?
Oh, no, on Succession.
I'm not
He's
rewatching.
not
Oh, I know
Rewatching
you're,
Succession.
I know you're rewatching The Sopranos. I've been considering that too. But you haven't occasionally rewatched Succession? Because there's like certain scenes. For example, Shiv and Tom had a scene that is at the center of a lot of conspiracy theories as to who's working with the feds, because the feds raided the offices. Someone has to be working with them. Logic would say maybe Kendall, but there is zero evidence from the show so far that he's actually had a conversation even with his lawyer.
Do you know if I'm spoiler? Am I spoiler? Is it a spoiler crime for me to wonder aloud? I should probably say spoiler alert right now.
No, just say
You won't get a 10-game suspension.
yeah.
Maybe one.
Maybe one.
Whisper it to
Just say-
Stugotz first, and then he'll tell you how bad of a crime it is.
He hasn't watched the show.
Well, he gave up after
Half a
half a season, which
I didn't give up. I don't have
Yeah,
time
just
to
went on
watch all
living your
this.
life.
Yeah.
No, it's all right.
Too much stuff going on right
Golf.
now. Yeah. Golf, football. I mean, I just started rewatching the 86 Super Bowl. I mean, Phil Simms, I didn't realize just how good he was. He was 22 of 25, won Super Bowl MVP, and he was even better than I thought. I mean, it's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're even box score stew with the 86 Super Bowl.
I thought
I don't have it up right now.
I thought you would question his
No.
legacy because they won one with Hostetler.
Nah, that was 91 with Haas. Nothing Sims could do. I think they were 10-1 that season. Sims got hurt. Haas came in, took him for a ride, won himself a Super Bowl, but that wasn't Sims's fault. That game against the Bills, Whitney Houston sang the national anthem.
Goosebumps.
She absolutely
With the
crushed it.
sombrero?
Yeah. And Sims went 22 of 25. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, there's no way you can play better than that. But you know what? Phil Simms played even better than 22 of 25. There were 2 drops. Should have been 24 of 25. How
Thank
about
you.
that?
Thank you for your succession theory.
You got it.
did you I get the year right because I'm
No, because I think the Whitney Houston one was a Hostetler one.
well I'm
Maybe.
not
Because it was
sure.
a Gulf War
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The
Yeah.
original was so much better than the
So
sequel.
I started 91. Right. I started the 91 Super Bowl. Rewatch.
Not what I was asking you.
Neil
though.
Diamond did the national anthem.
Ah, that's right.
It's amazing. He has one of the best Christmas albums ever.
Forgive me. Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Does Neil Diamond have one of the
You've never
best?
heard
He
the Neil
does.
Diamond?
He does.
It's a little. It's
I
a
don't know
little.
if I have.
He
I mean,
does.
it's an ironic listen to hear, Neil Diamond sing about the baby Jesus.
Put it on the poll. Does Neil Diamond have one of the
Little
best?
boy Jesus laid down his sweet head. Come on now.
Does he do little drummer boy? Does I?
Pum-pum-pum. Love Neil. Love you, Neil.
I feel like that was Alan Thicke doing a little.
Pum-pum-pum-pum.
That is.
That's
I,
Alan
I
Thicke.
guess it wasn't Alan Thicke. I got it wrong.
Neil
I'm
Diamond's
at-
mode. Pum-pum-pum-pum. No, that was
Zaslow.
It's a little drummer boy.
I gotta hear it.
What's that little drummer boy? He comes in the picture. He's like, pum-pum-pum-pum. Awesome. That little drummer is your boy.
The question I was asking you, when I associate 1986 with football, it's not the Super Bowl Giants. I think of the Bears. I think of
Well, the Bears were
That
the
was
85
85.
Bears, but
Yeah,
they played
yeah.
the Super Bowl in 1986. Very common confusion. Do we call the Super Bowl by the name of the season or the year it was played in? Is this
And-
the 2021 Super Bowl or the 2022 Super Bowl?
21 Super Bowl, and there is absolutely no reason to rewatch that the Bears Patriots Super Bowl. That was Tony Eason. That was the fridge getting a touchdown. I don't think Peyton got one. Did he get one at the end? I forget. There is
No,
zero
they gave
reason.
it to the fridge.
They gave it to the fridge. No reason to watch that game though.
Here's the thing about the little drummer boy. In all depictions, he's olive skin, at the very least. But the baby Jesus is white. That's wild.
Huh.
I had no real ending.
no. Well, he didn't have Pablo singing. He just had really the Pablo impersonation is just.
Nina.
How'd you like Neil's version of Silent Nights?
Holy night. It's a great
He's got
Christmas
such a
album.
great voice, Neil Diamond. he
Yeah,
really
man.
does.
Yeah, it's a
Set
shame
of
he's not touring
pipes.
anymore. I
know.
love you, Neil. If you're listening, I love you.
Billy, as we head into the holidays, I am not afraid to say this. It's not something that you might associate with me. But Stugotz, I'm going to announce it controversially and publicly. I love Christmas music.
Really?
Love Christmas music.
Wow.
I don't love Christmas music on November 1st.
What's
like,
your favorite
truly.
song? Like, what's your
10th
go-to
Roy.
song?
Well, little drummer boy
Right.
Line of
is,
demarcation.
is one of my favorites.
Mhm.
I like that James Brown does a funky Christmas.
Dominic the Donkey.
That is the best Christmas album.
Can we
in
get your
history.
top 5 Christmas songs, Dan?
Wow.
Oh, this would be big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a big.
I was not aware that you are a fan of holiday songs.
Well, this is why I knew I was getting out there with a controversial take, but I wanted to ask Billy how he felt because all he's given us is Dominic the Donkey.
Oh, Mi Burrito Sabanero on Power 96, the DJ Laz version. Get out of here. That's Christmas.
Can you help me understand, or can you help
Mi
the audience?
Burrito Saba. Boom. No, but you have to do the stop, Tony, por
favor.
You need to stop.
Tony.
You have to. Mi burrito saba, boom. Mi burrito saba, boom. Mi burrito saba, boom. Mi burrito sabanero, voy camino de Belén.
So good.
Mi burrito
It is so
sabanero, voy camino de Belén. Come on, Stugotz.
That would be
That is Christmas.
See me then, Stugotz.
that would be Semen Head.
Wow.
That's a different Christmas song.
I'm just trying to sing along.
birthday.
I mean,
Why is Neil
Immaculate
Diamond singing
Conception.
now about?
You went
why
to
is
Berlin?
Did he sing about Belen? Did you just have him singing about Belen
Isn't
High
that
School?
Bethlehem?
Not Bethlehem.
In Spanish, I believe it is.
Billy, how else, if you were putting together a top 5 list, because that would absolutely be in my top 5.
Yeah, I think you owe a fine there.
Yeah, it is.
You went to a
Yeah.
Catholic school. Belen is Bethlehem.
Yeah.
yep. $5.
Ah, that's a good point.
The more
Yeah.
you know. Just taught you something.
Why is that a
Stugotz knows
fine?
that, apparently.
Now you'll always remember the day that a fake Neil Diamond taught you that Belen is Bethlehem.
The Nosotros thing is kind of complicated, isn't it?
So Vosotros. So if I'm
I think
asking,
you're
are you
right.
with me? Vosotros está conmigo.
Vosotros is you all, in according to Google Translate.
When I get to that Babel lesson, I'll let you guys know.
Hmm. Are you taking
Y'all.
Spanish lessons?
Vostros.
Really?
Yeah,
Are.
Vostros.
That was very poorly done, Roy. I'm
have you
always
learned?
alarmed by how.
no one in Miami uses.
I mean,
Vosotros.
I was
I've
born
never
and
Nobody
used
raised
anywhere.
here.
I have never used Vosotros in my life. Not at any point in my 52 years have I ever, for any reason, put a V in front of Nosotros for Vosotros, whatever the formal usage of that is.
Vosotros, I guess, is formal ustedes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. The only time I've ever used it, I learned Vosotros in Spanish class, even though I'd heard Spanish
Wait,
my entire life.
no, ustedes is more formal. So vosotros would be like a casual two.
No,
Like
Vosotros
twos.
is y'all.
Billy, you don't.
Nosotros was we when I was back in school.
No, it's not.
Yes, it was.
But
No
every
story.
definition.
That's how
says
Robert
it's not we.
Acevedo taught it to me.
It cannot
I
be
mean,
we, because you cannot be included in Vosotros.
Yeah.
all right.
Roy and Stugotz.
Do you guys say two or usted when you talk to people? I always go usted.
Two.
No,
You
I,
always go formal
yeah, I do. More respectful than two.
to everyone of every age.
Yes.
Usted, even if you're talking to like a kid who's 12.
Yeah.
So you go
That's
formal.
weird.
I mean, I don't run into lots of 12-year-olds that just start having conversations with in Spanish, but
I understand, but if you happen to be at a party and having to have a conversation with a 12-year-old,
well, it's usually like they'll say like "Have a good day" in Spanish. I'll say "Usted también."
Hola, niños joven.
Yeah.
Billy, are you willing to do top 5 Christmas lists against my top 5
There's
Christmas
so many
lists?
songs is the problem, Dan. It's a very difficult list to make. Should we do top 20 each?
Well, how do you want to do it? Do you want to do just songs? I think that's what makes it a good top 5 list, that it's tough to get down to, or do you want to get artist and song?
No. Tony has a really good idea. We should do almost like an advent calendar of our top Christmas songs where every day we reveal a Christmas song. Yes. How many days are there till Christmas that we work?
A lot.
There are,
Not a lot. Not
Yeah,
a lot.
there's a lot.
Honestly, less than you think.
Yeah, I would say we're probably within 25 work days to Christmas.
How many,
I'll
how many,
count.
how many shopping days?
You want to reveal? You think people want to sit around? You want to do this throughout the holidays where we build the official show list of the top 5 Christmas songs of all time. But I think we'd have to include artists at that point because I need to put in Clarence Carter's Backdoor Santa just for being dirty.
Absolutely.
Like
You're right.
But that's not something
Is that
would,
your song for today?
well, this is the thing. I need you to explain to me the way this list is going to work, because is it going to be artist and song? Or is it just going to be Little Drummer Boy and Silent Night?
I'd like to hear your version of it.
You
Like
can
your
do
favorite version of
specific
it.
versions. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. Like
Okay.
if you really like a version
Yeah.
of rocking around the Christmas tree, but you like 2 versions, that could be on your list twice.
I believe there are 30 work days until we.
No
well,
chance.
okay, I just counted. Are we counting Fridays? Because for us, that's a half day, so it's not a full work day. Should
Well,
I
I
count it as
count.
half?
I was counting Fridays.
How about Christmas
But
Eve?
there's vacation in between.
well, I didn't include
Okay,
Thanksgiving.
please let's get out of the show
and
calendar.
Black
That's
Friday.
fine. I don't know why you insist
Well,
on.
we're trying to make
Well, we're
rules,
trying to
Dan.
figure
Without
out
rules, there's
top
chaos.
30, top 25.
But
I
we
mean,
do, Dan. We're producers. We have to count things ahead of time and then count backwards, and then we have
Yeah.
to plan things around the calendar.
Exactly.
You know,
Backwards counting is so much more fun than forwards counting, right?
it
But
does-
it has a
I
finite
forwards
end,
counted.
unless you go into the
A
negative.
countdown is much more gratifying than a count up.
Mhm.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Put on the poll, Guillermo. Is a countdown much more gratifying than a count up?
Not to drag this thing into the mud, but you know what I never understood? The cheerleader count that starts at 5, that goes 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you start. What happened to 1 through 4?
That's how you count music, though. Like,
Really?
yeah.
I never considered cheerleaders musicians until today.
Well, they go on a beat. Like that's why they
5, 6, 7, 8.
Like gymnasts and like cheerleaders.
But what's wrong with 1,
Clap.
2, 3, 4? What's going on with that?
If I were to put Christmas Eve Can Kill You by the Everly Brothers in my top 5, would it be
Eerie.
too dark?
Never heard of that.
it's your list.
The 1, 2, 3, 4 is to get you ready for the 5, 6, 7, 8. It's giving you. I'm telling you, my daughter is a cheerleader. She's a dancer. The 1, 2, 3, 4. It's almost silent to get you ready for the 5, 6, 7, 8.
Silent Night.
Yeah.
I'm always confused when people start with 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm like, we just skipped a sequence.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, same page.
So they do the 1, 2, 3, 4, which means be ready by 4 for the 5, 6, 7, 8, and then at 8 it's go time.
You need 4 seconds to get ready for 5. I mean, I guess you do.
Just telling you what I
Numerically.
learned.
But
man.
5, 6, 7, 8 goes a lot quicker than 1, 2, 3,
because
4.
they're counting in 8 time.
Yes,
5,
tempo.
6, 7, 8.
How about
It's
when
the
people
tempo.
go a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4? Because then we're by 6.
Right.
Number 5, Run DMC's Christmas in Hollis.
Wow, that's only 5?
Number 5 is going to be like December 17th, Dan. What are we doing here?
Well, now we know number 5. Put it
Wow.
down on the list because I'm trying to figure out how to do this. This should probably be a production meeting that's not on air. We should probably figure out how many days we're working not on air. But if you want to do this until December 25th, now we have number 5, and I will prepare the rest of my list. It'll
Well,
be
now
my
it's
list.
one a week. I mean,
It'll be
25th, I mean.
No,
Christmas Day
because
we
I
won't
can
be
no,
here, then
no,
Noche
because
Buena.
when we did favorite color, purple was number 2, and we did it for months. We could just put that at number 5 and go resume at number 30. We will get back to that. We will create this Christmas list so that everyone can enjoy it. But I want to talk about what Scottie Pippen is doing.
Well,
Stugotz.
does Billy have a number 5, or I mean, just Dan on an island? What are we doing here?
We're moving on to
Grandma
Scottie
got run over
Pippen.
by a reindeer.
Yeah. There you go. I knew he had one in there, Dan. That's why I asked him. Sorry.
Always have one in the Christmas canon. You know what I mean?
So how many do you have here?
As many days as there are till Christmas, coincidentally.
What a coincidence.
Billy,
He's
you
always
should do
got one
yours.
in the cannon.
You should do yours 3, 5, 4, 2, 1.
not this.
He could do it his own way. Thank you for encouraging
The
him,
out of
Jessica.
sequence list is my least favorite.
This is what he
That's a
needs to
Chris
do.
Cote
He needs
move.
more encouragement to be an agent of chaos, Jessica. That's good. He needs more. He's not. Yesterday he executed an NFL referee. Today he
I
claims
did
he
no
doesn't
such
remember.
thing.
That was
Why are you
somebody
denying it? We all
else.
heard you.
Yeah.
It was your idea. Yeah.
It's on tape, yeah.
Can't just say it wasn't you. It was
Literally the
you.
first sentence of the local hour yesterday.
It's just what's happening in America right now. Just say anything and then say the other thing on the other side, and it's all gibberish. And just, I think that one of the great problems facing America right now is the ability or the inability to discern substance from bullshit. And you just cloud the water so much, like Billy does. Kill him! I didn't say that.
It was a joke.
You know where you end up? January 6th. Insurrection! Kill the vice president! No, it was just a rally.
How did we get from Christmas
That's a
Carols
bit
to
too
this?
far.
You did this!
Yes.
You did this to me!
I believe Grandma got run over by a reindeer. Was the on ramp.
How
Yes.
many work days until January 6th?
I
planning a
believe
big
32.
anniversary.
A little.
What do you want to do? You want to celebrate the
how many shopping
anniversary
days
of the
here?
insurrection, the
How many
attack
shopping
on
days?
I'm
democracy?
just trying to do a
2
Billy
months?
impression
How
here.
many
It
shopping
is
days?
also as Tony points out, Reyes Magos.
All right, you know what, Billy? Go ahead and plan that for us
I
for
will
our
do
show.
no such
You're
thing.
in charge of the January 6th anniversary. Whatever we're
anniversary
doing that day.
Reyes Magos.
Well, it's the anniversary of you guys
You
leaving,
want to be
right?
an
Yeah,
agent of
January
chaos
5th.
here? Let's go. Let's go.
Is that going to be cake?
January 5th is the anniversary of us boarding our pirate ship. Well, no,
I thought it was the 6th.
no, the 4th was a Monday because we randomly did that. Man, that was a
We did a
logistic
Monday
nightmare.
show,
We
right?
finished on a Monday.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
finished
yeah,
on a
yeah.
Monday.
So it was
Yeah.
Monday. Yeah, it was Monday, January 3rd. Where no.
The 4th was the last day.
You're looking at a 2022
Yeah, let me go
calendar.
back to
Yeah,
2021. I'll back.
I like that we're doing the Christmas thing while we have our
Yeah.
2-week late pumpkin carving contest winner right in front of us also. It's a good blending of holidays right now.
In terms of
Congratulations.
days for
January
Christmas,
5th.
we doing the Wednesday before Thanksgiving or?
What? Yeah.
Okay, I'll count
No,
that.
no, wait. No,
No, we're off.
no, we're off that Wednesday.
Oh, good. I got to
Wait,
prepare.
no, wait. I don't know. Get back to me.
TBD.
I'm off.
Yeah.
You're off.
I mean, I thought we were taking off.
Yeah. We'll figure.
The Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
No one ever really likes working that Wednesday. We'll figure something out.
Number 4, Clarence Carter.
What are you
Backdoor
doing?
Santa.
Excellent choice.
What?
Yeah. Just for the record, it was January 5th, our first independent show, because we really wanted to do one final show for ESPN.
Correct.
And then change out our entire infrastructure in 12 hours, as
Right.
opposed to using all the holiday weeks to
So
do
the
it.
4th was the final show.
In retrospect, a stroke of brilliance.
Mhm.
We had to get that George Michael song in there.
And so, well, it was just because you had to spend those 12 days working on a long stat of the day.
It was the most insane thing that we've ever done.
Speaking of 12, my number 4 is the 12 Days of Christmas.
Ooh.
That's right. Get ready to rehear that on December 20th.
Great.
Unless we just do it all now.
No, we
can't do
can't.
we
We
can't do
can't.
it.
No,
we
we
can't do it
can't.
all now.
Did you ever do like one of those advent calendars that you open and has like a little prize inside? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Sometimes they have that like with
Oh,
chocolate
those are
or
the
something.
best.
Do you
Yes.
cheat at that? Like you go
No,
and you just take it
never.
out? Why? Santa's
Because then I
watching?
won't have anything to like wake up to the next morning.
Mm.
It helps you get out of bed when the mornings, start a little later, the evenings start a little earlier. It's dark, it's cold. You have a chocolate to look forward to.
Mike, you were talking about the difficulties in creating the infrastructure in a day as we head toward celebrating a year. The insurrection, Billy, you're in charge of that. The anniversary of the insurrection, January 6th. Let's frame it as a show celebration of 1 year of freedom. We celebrate our freedom, American freedom. We celebrate freedom of all sorts on the 1 year anniversary.
This just in, the NFL believes Tony Corrente taunting call was correct, that he did nothing wrong with the hip. Billy wanted to execute him yesterday.
Did he say Corrento?
He
Yeah,
did say
Billy
Corrento
did
for
not.
some
I told you
reason.
guys, he followed the letter of he's followed the spirit of the rule, really. Cassius Marsh turned towards the Steelers bench. He was on the Steelers earlier in the season. He probably wanted to do a little taunting because look, now I'm on the Bears. I had a big play.
He always
That's a
was
flag.
he was always going to have coverage by the letter of the law because it's entirely subjective.
It's a terrible rule. I think it's a horrible rule. I think it will probably not be as strictly adhered to next season because everyone hates it so much. But I don't think it's execution worthy on the part of the referee.
Well, you say this.
What
Hold
about
on.
the hip check?
Well, the hip check happened after he already was going to throw the flag. So
Yeah.
we're talking
But he
about
went out
two
of his way.
separate issues.
Trick hit, I
No, but it
remember.
seemed as though he was trying to boost his argument for it by hip checking him.
I didn't see it that way. I don't know.
Where do you stand on the hip check?
Trick
Do you
hip,
even believe
remember
there
that.
was a hip check?
Jessica,
there was a hip check.
Jessica, I need to, it
Execution.
was out of Key and Peele. You cannot do what that dude did. I'm not the Law and Order show.
Well, he can apparently.
You can, evidently
He did
you-
it,
you
and nothing's wrong.
You
I
can't,
mean, the NFL said that he got a stern talking to about the hip check.
Yeah.
He did?
Well, they're saying he did nothing wrong. They're saying the call was correct and he did nothing wrong with the hip.
They addressed the hip check specifically?
Yes.
They-
Yes. They believe he did nothing wrong with his hip check.
Am
Well, he was
Yes.
walking backwards.
So
Maybe
mad.
he didn't see him there.
so mad. No, he saw him. He sucked the hip out.
it was a cartoon sketch. What I love most about
Pro ref Jess. That's
I
your-
hate.
that's your pro
You know
ref
what?
Jess.
I don't want to be in this spot, but someone has to do it because you guys are all so far on Tony Corrente deserves to be
It was
fired.
corrupt.
He should get relegated. He should never
Suspended.
ref again. and someone's got to be the
Relegated
voice
to
of
chain
the
gang.
NFL referees.
And I mean an actual chain gang at a prison.
Jess, I need everyone involved in this as we morph, as we celebrate a year of freedom by becoming the Law and Order show. I need.
So I have the gavel.
Boom, boom.
I have the gavel.
We are off the rails today, friends.
I have the gavel. Is the gavel fine to use?
I don't know, man. You gotta
think you
ask
have
Dick
to
Wolf on that.
ask the permission? You got to get.
Who would you ask?
Judge Judy.
No, you
Dick
got to
Wolf
get. You got to
Productions.
get sound. People own this. This is part of the difficulty.
Someone owns the gavel sounds?
all of
I
the
mean,
sounds.
but we play like even the fanfare or something. That's our gavel.
That's terrible.
We're the Law and Order show now, and I want to talk about this this clown Corrente. Not Corrento, as Stugotz likes to call it, while fining me thousands of dollars for mispronunciations. But I do want to become the Law and Order show only on one thing, Mike, which is an NFL referee behaving like Key and Peele would in a skit, and everyone telling you that's the way it should be, and Jessica saying that we shouldn't be the Law and Order show. You cannot have the guy who administrates justice in these huge stake games that we love to watch, where any call changes the balance of power of whether or not Matt Nagy gets fired or not. And you find yourself in a place where this official did something that was out of Saturday Night Live. You cannot laugh enough about the justice in that league trying to enforce the rules of its old white owners, Stugotz, doing that in that spot that way, and then the owners and everyone else.
They're not all white.
Well, Mike Tomlin has been very pro
The owners?
taunting rule.
Yeah, the owners.
Well,
They're
he's
not
not an
all
owner,
white.
but he's a coach. But
Are you doing an inventory? We had the son of one in here.
There is
majority.
the majority. The majority of the owners in that sport are white. I'm so used to saying all white owners because it's been that across sports my entire life. Every once in a while, an Artie Moreno sneaks in there.
The unnamed source from the NFL said they did not give credence to Marsh's accusation that referee Tony Corrente bumped into Marsh and stuck his hip out. Why don't you just come out and say you didn't do it? Not giving credence and saying he didn't do it are two different things, I feel like.
They don't want to call Marsh a liar. They don't want to just up and down call him a liar. But I want to just examine the part
also,
of this.
Kim Pegula also co-owns the Buffalo Bills. She's Korean.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. You also say white guys a lot, and there's several female owners. Although I should say women, because female is more biological in nature.
I thank you. So it's not all white guys. It is also some white women and Shad Khan.
Just say Vosotros moving forward when addressing.
Okay, Vosotros it is. Jessica, you're not with the Law and Order show on the idea of you simply can't have a referee behaving like a Key and Peele sketch where he's throwing his flag that high in the sky. Now, I want to endorse this behavior. This is the thing, Jessica. I want all referees to behave like this. I want them to be unsportsmanlike as well. I want them to do preening, wonderful calls. I don't want less of that. But I thought your league wants to be taken credibly. They want to believe that this stuff, that the referees are behaving however justice is supposed to behave.
It was ridiculous. It was just over the top. But I do think by the spirit of this very shitty rule, the NFL they can cover themselves. They can say, yeah, well, we wanted to overemphasize taunting this season. Cassius, I'm really struggling with the S.
Cassius.
He walked
Cassius,
towards the
like Clay.
Steelers bench. There's a history there with him being on the Steelers. And so, okay, that's taunting. Like, it's his discretion. And I think that my Steelers moving to 6-2 because the Packers had to forfeit their win against the Steelers early this season because Aaron Rodgers lied to everyone has something to do with my obvious bias here, but also my Bears got fleeced. So I really am impartial.
Okay, you're just totally emotional about this. You can't be trusted here any more than Mike Ryan can be trusted when his emotion gets involved in analyzing Jokic and Morris.
I walked it back. I said I'm sorry. Now Jokic's turn.
I'm going to get Breitbart is going to weaponize me by making me too liberal because I have always believed that Cassius Marsh should be allowed, like a 14-year-old with his stepbrother in the bedroom, to roundhouse kick in celebration. I believe that is something that should not be legislated out of the game.
It was walking towards the bench.
No, but what I'm saying
It started with a roundhouse.
No,
kick.
but he didn't put his hand. He didn't put his hand on
the kick after every sack, and that
Right.
never
but
gets called.
It's not a roundhouse, though.
It was an emotional spinning roundhouse.
It was great.
And not only is it great, I want more of it. And all of us have done that. We were 14, not as well as he did it. He got a sack and he did it effortlessly with his leg around his head. Like, man, you're flexible, Cassius Marsh. But not so flexible that you can make your way around all these dumb goddamn rules.
Did you know that the Bears were purchased for $100? I'm looking at owners right now.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, the Hallis family bought them for $100. And old Wellington Mara, old sack of money Wellington Mara, got it for the bargain price of $500.
Return on investment right there.
Dollars.
Those are the guys.
Steal.
Those are the
I
guys.
think Dan has more than $500 cash in his wallet right now.
Well, he owes some for fines yesterday. Put it in there.
Do you want to actually do this? Do you want to see who can come closest to guessing the amount of money I actually have in my wallet right now?
Yes,
What's the over-under?
yes.
You carry a physical wallet, right?
He
I
does.
carry a
Not
physical
one
wallet.
of these Ridge IG wallets?
Not a money clip.
No, he's got a real old school wallet.
I'm going to go $275 is my over-under.
Can I see the
I'm gonna take
wallet
the
real
under.
quick? Can I see it?
Is that cheating? Is that cheating?
Seeing the
I would
wallets?
not hand him your wallet.
I said, can I see the wallets?
You know
No.
what? I'm not putting
You're
it out
saying
around
no.
you. I'm not putting it anywhere around you.
All right. I'm gonna guess $1,500. All hundies.
I don't actually know the answer to this question, but my wallet feels a little bit heavy right now. And I've made, you have to understand, I'm keeping the ATM industry alive because I pay everyone I pay in cash.
So many fees.
Well, not at this. No,
It's not
not. I
shady
go.
at all,
Not,
by
I
the
go
way.
to my bank, so I don't have fees, and I'm doing this so often that I now have my first private banker. I have a
That's
private
smart,
banker
Dan.
who like waives certain special fees. This is rich person's world that I've never known before. The private banker thing.
No paper trail. How'd he play?
It's all paper.
It's all paper trail.
It's
Literally.
It's
Receipts.
all paper trail. So I don't know how much I have in my wallet, but maybe it'll be a big reveal on how it is that we can turn this into a game.
When you get to your number one Christmas song, you should throw all the money in the air.
Or maybe just tell you guys what I had in my wallet that day 45 days ago. Maybe that, build it up
Do you
over.
carry change? Are we guessing like exact change?
I never do anything with the change other than leave it for the people who.
Yeah. How many years ago did you stop having time for change?
So a round number.
Do you carry singles?
I'm going to say 20 years ago, you decided I'm never going to carry change.
No, I would say that's a recent development.
Really?
Yes, where maybe the last 2 or 3 years I leave the change for whoever it is taking the cash.
I've been doing that as well since the pandemic. Like, give me the bills back. I don't want the change.
So yours, out of you, it's out of fear.
Yes.
It's not because you never give money back. You always take more money.
You're right.
Where did people who use cash, where do you put your change if you don't have a car?
Well, but this is why I say 2 years ago, I usually put it in when I used to do this, I'd put it in the glove compartment of my car so I would have it whenever I'm putting air in the tires of my car so that I would have some change for
Don't
usage.
get me started on that.
Do you even use credit cards
Okay.
anymore?
I just recently had to try and update all of this because of the number of places who are making it annoying for me to try to do things with cash.
What is happening here? Because my kids, I'm with Dan. I'm still going to the ATM. I'm still getting cash. There is something that
Nobody's
makes me feel
doing
good
that.
about holding
Nope.
cash.
Nobody's
Yet
doing
my
that.
kids keep making fun of me for going to the ATM.
It's all on your phone.
Apple Pay all
Apple
day.
Pay. Yeah.
I get a check. I go to the ATM. I deposit that check. My kids are like,
You know
do it
there-
on your phone.
You can deposit on
Checks.
your phone. Well, maybe not the
do
checks
that
of
on
those sizes.
I don't trust it,
They have
man.
limits.
Checks of those sizes because you believe he tries to cash the checks from
The
golf
golf
tournaments.
The cardboard ones.
The no cash thing is crazy. I was at a place in South Beach the other morning and I got my coffee and then the guy behind me was trying to get a coffee, but he only had cash. So I was like, I'll just get his coffee too because he didn't have a credit card. I was like, that's so unfair for people who can't have
Well,
who
this
don't
is
have credit cards.
this is Jessica. This is what's happened to me, and I've told this story before. But what's happened to me is I am now being actively shamed. I feel like I'm an alt-right anti-vaxxer. I'm being actively shamed for the freedom of wanting to pay for things in cash. Like, this is a thing that's happening where restless people behind you are, I'll take care of it. Well, I don't need you to take care of it. I just need to get through this real quick. But all of this has changed very quickly on us, so that I was in a store. I was at a Trader Joe's. I'm holding up cash in front of the cashier at 6 p.m. He's staring off into the distance, and then he eventually looks at me and says, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I haven't taken cash all day." I'm the weirdo. I'm the pariah for trying to pay for things with cash. And all it is you young people making me feel old. That's all it is. It's actively shaming us because you guys are changing the world so fast that you don't have time for us anymore. A relationship with you is you just want to be scanning our forehead on an app. And and you make us feel so old because look at you back there. None of you carry cash. Roy, you're still an old head. Do you not carry any cash?
I have cash on me right now. Yeah.
That a boy.
Billy?
Right. Who has more cash, Roy or Dan?
Billy?
Probably me.
I do not.
Well, we all know Roy considers $60 just pocket
Yeah,
change,
Roy
so.
did say $60 is nothing.
Billy, you have cash?
I believe the quote was, "I wipe my ass with $60."
I don't believe I said that, and I'm $40 short.
I think you did say that, Roy, actually.
I don't even know what joy you derive from that. It's got to be pain for the sensitive skin down there. Wipe your ass with a $1 bill.
Yeah, why would you do that, Roy?
Dude, it's just terrible.
I set it on fire, actually. I don't wipe it.
I barely use toilet paper anymore, just straight to the wet wipes.
I use change.
That's what that noise was.
I have coins and I have Mike Marchand's business card.
Oh,
he gave it to you?
It was super sharp. You have to be careful. I was
Yeah.
waving around the air. I almost took
This
somebody's
thing's
eye out.
Listen to this. That's the
It's
business
got a
card.
lot. I like a card with weight on it, but not with sharp edges.
Mike, did we
man.
get any of the fake Cody? Let's see. Let's
Yeah.
go
Get
deep
one.
into the file here.
How long? We're approaching a year. How long before you use the device of, did we get this sound from ESPN?
You think I should stop?
We've been talking about it back here. Like, I wonder if I don't say anything, will he say this forever? Like, will it be 20 years after we left ESPN? It'll be like,
Mike,
did
did we get the
negotiate
sound?
that sound from the?
It's an easy transition for me, though. It helps
so it's
me
just
do
like,
it.
hey, can you play that sound?
Well, but I don't know if you have actually the
I
fake
don't-
Cody. I'm
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
give you the cue so that you can.
No, I know
so
what you're
much
doing,
of what
and
we
I'm
do
doing the
here
thing
is
too.
not verbal. So much of it is me just getting the hatred of the audience because I'm trying to build the bridges so that the eye contact can result in the producers getting what I need.
They criticize everything, these kids. I mean, I'm telling you, cash. I
Yes.
mean,
So we did get all the fake Cody sound from ESPN. Here's a problem with
No,
any
no, but
parody song.
wait a minute. Before you say anything, this is the thing that I was allowing you to do with the filibuster of did we get this sound? This is what I'm trying to do as we get into the layers of the show, is for you to go and find wherever the fake Cody is, which I imagine is not an easy find, and then have to listen to some of it to see if it holds up and if we can play it without getting into trouble because we might have been doing things 16 years ago that we're not doing now. I don't know what your filing system is on the fake Cody sound.
So I find it recently a frustrating experience because I do try to listen to songs, but then you just start talking to someone else in my studio and they turn on their mic, which then turns off my cue speaker. I'm working on a technical workaround for this where I can listen to something and have the mics on, but yeah, a twerkaround if you will. But I can't listen to audio while someone else is talking. So you and Stugotz got to carry this one.
Okay, we will filibuster here with our old man talking about cash as I tell the story from Moss, Miami, Stugotz, because Billy decided to derail us with a sharp business card
Well,
of
we were
Mike
going through our
Marchand.
wallets.
I have the
Trying
same-
to listen to the sound, Billy.
Oh, sorry.
I have the same business card in my pocket. I don't know how it got there, but it is sharp. Like it keeps poking me in the upper thigh area.
And
Got
now,
my sandwich with it.
and now for the audience that gets very mad at how it is, we're taking you deep inside the show here.
Deep
at
inside my pockets.
how often I have to explain the joke. Here is the joke, and this is the truth. Greg Cote of the Miami Herald on ESPN radio many years ago became the singing sports writer. Like with many things, Cote, he eventually quit and just stopped doing it, even though it was working well for him. He was very sensitive when Mike Marchand, a young man, would produce songs as the fake Cote to rival the singing sports writer. And many of his songs ended up being better, more popular, applauded. by the audience in a way that made Greg Cote insane. At Moss Miami for the first time, Greg Cote hated the fake Cote. Had never met him, though. And Mike Marchant worked in our studios. He was always around, but Cote didn't know it was him.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Marchant was in the shadows as the fake Cote, while Cote was talking about how much he hated the fake Cote.
Cote was the same then as he is now.
Yeah, exactly the same.
Oblivious.
No difference at all. But they met for the first time on Saturday night. And Greg Cote took like the picture you take as a presidential candidate, but he was seething. He does not like the fake Cote, does not like the fake Cote's work, does not like how the fake Cote mocked Greg Cote when he was getting adulation all over the land as the singing sports writer.
I am surprised and saddened to hear that. I thought Greg would let it go. Like at some point you arrive at an age where you just stop caring about stuff like that. All right, there's a fake me. He's a little bit better. Who cares? Let it go. You know?
What age is Greg Cote going to stop being sensitive about that stuff? Because he's a good deal older than the rest of us. And I'm going to go ahead and say he's formed. I don't think a whole lot of changes are coming on Cote where he's going to stop being sensitive about shit that the rest of us are like, what are you so sensitive about? Did he cheat at the pumpkin contest yesterday, Jessica? Because he was very eager to win that.
Well, he just wouldn't accept the election results last night. It was clear that I was winning by 10 points. All the votes on the Instagram page and on Twitter were in my favor. On his Twitter account, by the way, he tweeted out a poll to his fans, so he obviously would have an advantage there. But my pumpkin was just better. He wouldn't accept the results. He kept trying to contest the results, and you know, I won. I mean, everyone on YouTube said I won. The room clapped harder for me when I won. If you go back and watch the tape, overwhelming applause for my pumpkin yesterday, and Greg he couldn't take a loss as an answer.
Dan, have you seen the pumpkins yet? Do you know which pumpkin belongs to whom? Can you blindly decide which one you like better, and you'll be the final say here? Or do you know whose pumpkin is whose? Whom's is this?
Vosotros.
Whose?
Oh, wow. Those are two very different pumpkins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Greg tried to do something. He brought in a prop, which I mean he
what
was
is happening right now?
He was complaining.
I mean, it's
leading
obvious.
the jury.
Yeah, she just said a prop, right?
I mean, I think Dan already saw social media posts.
No.
I don't know who won here. I don't know what
It should be the
here.
one on the right, my right.
Is the winner?
Yeah.
Okay, but this is not a visual thing
Which
that we're
is your
doing
right.
with
Do
much
your
of
left,
the
your
audience. Okay.
You're left.
The prop, she said the prop, so Cody's. He brought in a prop, she said. Oh, you didn't even do that. You didn't even factor that in. Oh, you see here, Jessica.
Oh, there's some details there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but look at this one. It's crying seeds.
This is a good contest. This is a
Wow.
good pumpkin contest.
An excellent job by both of you.
Both of them are very creative. Both of them are very well done.
With smaller pumpkins, by the way, than they were anticipating.
Very small pumpkins. Yeah, my design was going to be much more detailed.
But Jessica, yours looks better from afar than it does close up because you
Oh.
could see the detail in it from
Thank you.
afar.
Yes.
It's yeah, but I can't pick between those
They
two.
haven't
I
had
like
the
both
candle
of them.
test
well, you
yet, I
have
don't
to
think
pick one,
either.
Dan.
Ooh.
Are there?
Let's
Are they
see.
lit?
They are lit, Billy. We have candles in the pumpkins.
Right now they're lit. That's dangerous.
Well,
Why do we
so
have a lit
Greg-
There's a
open
hazard.
flame
Be
in the
careful. Be
studio?
careful in there.
Greg was complaining about, oh, you can't do a stencil. It has to be
holding it
freehand
upside
or you're
down right
cheating,
now with a
blah, blah,
candle.
blah. And then he brings in a prop at the last minute as this gimmick.
These are very well done, though.
Mm.
It's just very...
I salute both of you, and
Oh, boy.
Choose a winner, though.
I
They don't
can't-
wanna- they don't want to
I
say that
can't
Jessica
pick
lost.
one. But now we know, Jessica, you really did ruin it by
I
telling us
thought you
whose
already
they are.
knew. I mean, I feel like it's obvious. Obviously, Greg didn't do that one. It's way too detailed.
Why?
But Greg's is also good.
I mean, for Greg, yes.
I think Greg's is good, and it's less busy, even though I like all of the details in Jessica's, and I'm biased because Jessica did my face.
Yeah. I mean, amazing. She got it in there on a pumpkin.
We don't know that Greg didn't do your face also, though.
That is a good point.
Jess, this is really good. I mean,
Thank you.
I think Jess wins.
Yeah.
Before you
Well,
said
I already won,
the
but
other
yeah,
one.
Stugotz.
I said that, but I didn't see the details in this one. I couldn't see it. I just saw a knife in the other one.
Santa Claus! Santa Claus! Santa Claus! Santa Claus!
Dan Ugla. That's how old. That's how old. Fake Cody was He was purposely terrible, and this enraged Greg Cody.
Santa Claus! Santa Claus!
And still does.
Santa Claus!
And still does. To Panama by Van Halen. I also believe that Cody hated that Fake Cody would use actual music. I think that was one of the things.
He viewed it as an unfair advantage.
It's funny though that Greg Cody would use props and he would object to props. And he is such a fraud. Greg Cody, you saw him. He was upset around Fake Cody.
I didn't notice. I don't remember much from that night.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Look at those sideburns, man. Jet black sideburns? Are you kidding me? Who are you trying to fool, Paul Rudd? Out of here.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. Is Paul Rudd trying?
He looks fantastic. His bone structure is great. He's in incredible shape.
Some men get better looking with age. They do. I'm not one of them, but Patrick Dempsey would be a great example. A great example.
But wasn't he always a heartthrob?
Yeah, but if you think back to, Mike, what's the movie we love where he's Ronald, he's on the lawnmower, Can't Buy Me Love. You look back at that movie.
I don't love that movie.
No, you love that movie.
I've never seen that movie.
We love that movie. We've talked about that movie.
Talking about it.
Yeah. He drives away on the tractor, Mike.
Yeah, I never talked to you about this movie ever.
Okay.
If you want to feel your age, how about this list from Troy Mashear on Twitter? You guys ready? College basketball players this year.
Yep.
The son of Vin Baker.
No.
The son of Penny Hardaway.
You stop it.
The son of Ron Harper. The son of Khalid El Amin. The son of Eddie House. The son of Bobby Hurley. The son of Dale Davis. The son of Jamal Mashburn. The son of Mike Miller. The son of Dikembe Mutombo.
No.
George Murasan. Jameer Nelson. Shaq. Pippen. Rodman. Preston Shumpert. Otis Thorpe, Samaki Walker, Haywood Workman's got a son running around.
The only one that really connected with us is Jameer Nelson. That's the only one that made us feel old. And Mike Miller, kind of, maybe. But everybody else.
Jameer hurts. Yeah. It feels like Jameer was doing it yesterday. You know?
Jameer, I think, was on a team like in the last 5 years.
Jamal Mashburn doesn't make you feel
wasn't on a team in the last 5 years. I was a kid when I was pissed off at Jamal Mashburn for passing up a shot. I was a kid. My abuela was still around.
I feel like I had Jameer Nelson on my fantasy team like 3 seasons ago. I'm with Mike on this.
I remember watching Jamal Mashburn pass up that shot from my abuela was dating. It was like a life partner, but she never remarried out of respect for my abuelo. Wow. And we were at the bedside of Nino, her partner.
Nelson last played 2017.
Clarence Witherspoon. He gave it to Clarence Witherspoon.
Spoon.
Billy, since Mike Ryan mentioned his grandmother, I buried my grandparents.
Sorry about that. Didn't Dwayne Wade just sign his son to a D-League deal?
He drafted his son to a G League team, the Jazz G League affiliate. Wonder how that happened.
Lifers.
Can you drag us into the conversation you guys were having during the break? Because we are downloading Jessica on culture, Cuban culture, as quickly as we can. And I felt like a whole lot of Latin men in the room got offended by some of Jessica's opinions during the break, where you take it from here because
shit on me,
No, I did not.
man.
No,
Oh,
I
my
did
God.
not.
Yeah.
That is not what happened,
She took
Billy.
our culture and wiped her butt with
Exactly.
That's why I stay out of
That's
these
Roy
things.
does with $60.
How dare you?
It is not what happened. They were telling me about this song and how great this song was, and the song slapped so much. And Mike played a version of it that I said it doesn't slap as much as I thought. And then they all agreed. They were like, "Yeah, that's not really the right
Well, it's
version
the
of
wrong
it."
version.
But then they got mad
it
at
was
me.
a short version that was missing
Yeah.
the tuki tuki.
And then she started telling us that turrones are not pronounced turrones. It's
That's
pronounced
not
turroni. And
what
we're
I
like, what are
said.
you talking about?
Billy, oh my God, you guys, why are you doing this to me right now? I
Why
said
are you doing this to us?
Tony called his brother-in-law, and Louis called his mom, and they told us.
Turron.
Mm-hmm.
tell people who don't know what turones are, because when I came in here, you asked me a question that I answered evidently correctly on the side of Billy, because Billy said to himself, "Thank you, Dan. You proved our point, because turones were the great delicacy in dessert.
I said that's the stuff the old people bring.
Old people have it. So
yeah, they love it.
to explain what turrón is, Dan, turrón is essentially like a chocolate bark with almonds inside.
Almonds. I love you.
It's like a frozen piece of
Miami,
chalk.
man.
What?
That's
How do you say?
almonds.
How do you say almonds?
How do you say
How do
salmon?
you say it?
Salmon.
Almonds.
Tim Salmon.
So essentially, what that is
Almonds.
all the old people would bring that over as like they were bringing something great for the party, and then there would be 10 of them in a corner. And you'd be like, "What is this? Oh, it's turrón," and you're like, "Oh, I'll try it."
No, but at a certain point, you
You
go
only
over
try
and
it
the
once.
tray's empty
Because
because
all the old
someone's
people eat
eating
it.
it.
Yeah,
Someone's
yeah,
eating
All
it.
old
Always.
people
And then
Always.
Lewis was showing us the chocolate that his grandmother used to make hot chocolate
melt
that he said
over the
tasted
milk,
like
yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
No, it tasted like shit ass. That's what he said. Tasted like shit
Wow.
ass.
So,
Oh, the
okay,
hot
so-
chocolate was great,
But it tasted
but the
like shit.
chocolate itself tasted like ass.
Correct.
Shit ass.
like shit ass, not just ass. It's
Yeah.
not. It's an
It tasted like
unclean.
shit ass bro was the direct
unclean.
quote.
It tasted like
unclean
shit
ass.
ass bro, was what Lewis
An
said.
unclean ass.
Straight? No, he said it
Oh,
tasted like
straight
straight
ass.
ass, bro.
No, you
I
said
believe.
shit ass.
No, I
I
think
heard
what he
shit
said.
ass.
No,
I
I
heard
heard.
shit ass.
I heard
Did
that
you have
shit
something in your
tasted
mouth?
like straight ass,
no,
bro.
it was shit ass.
Is why.
That's what
No,
I
I
Thank you,
straight
Roy.
ass.
Heard
No,
shit
now
ass.
you guys are making fun of his dialect.
No, I'm just saying what he said. He said
Making
shit
fun
ass.
of our
Well,
dialect.
let
Exactly.
me make fun of somebody's dialect
Vosotros.
Let's not.
because I.
It sounded like shit ass.
He says straight ass, bro. I'm
Were you
telling
chewing on something at the
The
time?
thing with the
Stress.
version.
Oh, you
Here's the
I struggle
thing,
with S's, bro. It's all good.
guys. Here's the thing. The version that Jessica heard did not have the tuki tukis in it.
Correct.
And we told her
Oh.
that's why that version of the song was not as fire as it normally is.
Correct.
Because it didn't have the tuki tukis, bro. We told her.
We needed the power hour mix that you play in traffic.
And
That's
then-
the
That's
one
all
that we
I
needed.
said. All I said was this doesn't slap as much as I thought.
It
'cause
still
you-
slaps. Hold
but
on,
you
that's
why I
said-
stay out.
I
We
never
played
said.
we played the slap free version because it
No,
was
Thank you.
shorter.
And I never said
But-
it didn't slap for the record.
But then we played the longer version, which is appropriately timed out to 3:05.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
Dali.
it slapped.
But then she was just
3 minutes,
humoring
5
us.
seconds, Dan.
She was just humoring us because she saw the reaction that we gave her the first time that she said it didn't slap. And we said, listen, what you need to do is on Noche Buena, you drive around
Oh, yeah.
with the windows down.
It's cold that day,
With
too.
so,
this
yeah, man,
song
it's like
playing.
68 degrees.
Yes.
that day.
Freezing day.
Yes.
Freezing between
got my
60 and
Uggs on.
63 degrees.
Yes.
That low?
Cold day. Well, it depends. Some years it's hotter, some days.
Depends.
But on
Sometimes you're
average,
wearing a sweater on Thanksgiving and then it becomes like 85 degrees. And you're like,
Yeah.
way too hot for
Very
this sweater.
quickly.
I shouldn't have thrown that football.
But this is Noche Buena. Gets very cold, and you drive around with the windows down, and you smell all the lechon that's
Yes,
cooking throughout
cajachina
the
just
city.
everywhere.
Mhm.
This is the best night of our holiday cultural
Yeah.
season. The Noche Buena, Christmas Eve is the night, correct?
I'm
There
going
is.
to tell my wife we're hosting because we've been fighting.
Wow.
We were supposed to
Really?
host last
Hosting.
year.
It's a lot of
Big
responsibility.
responsibility.
She had to go
my-
ahead and get COVID and ruin everything.
I won't do it. Yeah.
And so, like, we were finally gonna have this. She's like, I want to be with other people. I'm like, we started a family. We're starting our own traditions. I want a Noche Buena, and she won't let me. Now we're going to London. And she's like, well, I don't want to host Noche Buena and then like 24 hours later leave to London. I'm like, let's just vibe. Come on, I want this. No one else is stepping up to the plate. I'm just gonna tell her straight
Wow.
up, we're hosting. Noche Buena is happening.
Big official
Wow.
announcement.
Wow.
Jeez, everybody go to Mike's.
Can I come?
Are we invited?
Mm.
Yeah, you're totally invited.
Yes.
More the merrier. The more people that actually, because it's just basically me, my daughter, my dad, and those are the only Hispanic people there. And I'm just forcing a bunch of Greeks to adhere to my
Oh
culture.
no, we're gonna no, we got to wreck the place.
We do have to wreck the place.
Destroy
yeah.
Mike's house.
Do you want to bring turrón or should I?
Well, actually, if you guys can clean up after
Dan
yourself,
should
because she
bring it.
does make a good point that we have to leave the country 24 hours later.
Oh.
Cody
23rd.
can bring it. Greg Cody is the old one. Jess, I want to go back for
I'm
a
not
second.
ready to leave the country. I mean, that's.
Well, he's just
Do
asking
not
you.
COVID shame me, man.
You guys, we were all at a nightclub 3 nights ago together.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know.
I thought when you said I'm not ready to leave the country, it was a joke about not driving from Parkland to go to Mike's house for Noche Buena.
I was waiting for it.
I was getting to
But
it.
I'm pretty sure that we missed. Stugotz trying, because Chris Cody's not here today, to do the game where he combines words. Oh, he's soothing himself. This did happen. This is a thing that happened.
What happened?
You made chocolate bark. You didn't. You and then you went back in and you tried to do it again. You never
No.
got to cark or chark.
I didn't get. There wasn't a window, and then it was straight ass or something like that. I said stress. I mean,
yes,
you know.
but do I have it wrong? Did you try and turn chocolate bark into one word and make it bark? I thought that's what happened.
No. It's not what happened. I took straight ass and tried to make it stress.
If I invite you guys, though, you're not going to come to my Noche Buena because you got like probably 3 Noche Buenas on the circuit.
No, I'll make it. I'll make it.
You promise?
Yeah, I promise.
You promise?
I promise.
Look at my eyes. Promise?
Wow, I promise.
All right.
Why'd you lower your glasses?
He lowered his glasses.
But not only are your lenses clear, so are your glasses.
The lighting. I saw the eyes. He's coming.
Stugotz, this is a great story here, and I had never heard it before, as Scottie Pippen makes the rounds and continues to just poop on Michael Jordan and get more hurt about The Last Dance. And once again, all of the resentments of Scottie Pippen playing with these guys and winning championships come forward in his late 50s because he didn't like that The Last Dance was a Michael Jordan production made by Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan paid to make that, became a 10-part commercial, and once again, Scottie Pippen was relegated to, oh, he's interesting, but over there.
Right.
And Scottie Pippen clearly believes that he deserves more of what Michael Jordan got, up to and including when he plays with a back injury and Michael Jordan is celebrated for his flu game. He keeps talking and saying, what about my back game?
Scottie, well, let's just say this on the front end. Scottie's selling a book right now. So I don't know if that factors into the equation, but he does have a book out and he's trying to sell a book. So he's saying some stuff, but he is sensitive to this. Dan, he was such a great player and he helped Jordan out so much that I kind of understand where Scottie's coming from, where, hey, you don't need to consult anyone on the making of that film, but if you're going to consult someone, it should be me. I kind of helped you win 6 NBA championships, and the picture you're portraying of me is a guy that sits out when he has a headache and you'll play through the flu. So I understand where Scottie's coming from, where it's like, hey, Michael, you could have afforded at least me just a little final say in how that documentary film airs. I get it.
And this is from Miles Brown, who's talking about the relationship between Horace Grant and Scottie Pippen.
Mm-hmm.
The relationship between the two rookies became an infatuation of sorts. Quote, Scottie is like my twin brother, explained Grant, who already had a twin brother, Harvey, also an NBA player. Pippen became his surrogate twin. The two shopped together, double dated together, drove the same type of car, and lived near each other in suburban Northbrook. They even got married a week apart and served as each other's best man. It was the kind of relationship that casts an odd bent to the Bulls' already awkward chemistry. Quote, Scottie called in one day and skipped practice because his cat died, recalled former trainer Mark Fiel. Quote, Horace called about 15 minutes later and said he was with Scottie because of the grieving. Johnny Bach, you remember Johnny Bach, right?
Of course.
Old assistant coach Johnny Bach was absolutely furious. He got Horace on the phone and said, you get here, you ought to throw that cat in the garbage can. Horace, when the team got together, wanted to have a moment of silence for Scottie's cat.
It's weird.
That's a good friend, man.
That's taking it too far.
When a pet dies, it's like part of your family is gone.
No.
And you have to have the least the team can do is have a moment of silence for the cat. The very least they can do.
I understand it. I had a cat. His name was Schmitty. He died. Okay. So I get it, right? I stayed over from school that day, but my friends didn't. All right.
It's one friend, not the whole team.
No.
Just one friend.
Listen, I'm all for finding excuses for getting out of work, but that's taking it a little bit too far. I'm grieving the death of my friend's cat.
I'll announce it right now. When Roma, my greyhound, passes away, I'm not coming in for 2 weeks.
I'll take a day off for Roma.
I'll
to
take 2
support
weeks
you.
off for Roma. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll have a moment of silence on the show.
I'm coming to work.
I will not take a single. But when
Vinny
Vinny dies, I will take 2 weeks off.
The single greatest
Bahamas.
display of strength I had ever seen was Dan hosting a show a mere couple hours after holding his dead dog in his arms.
I don't know how he did it. Yeah.
I think he brought it to work, right?
I had to dispose of it.
You don't just throw it in the dumpster. This Johnny Batch, whatever his name is. Get out of here.
Get out of here, Johnny.
Johnny
you give
Bach
that
is
cat
his
a
name.
Johnny
Put
Batch.
some
proper
respect
Put
on that
some
name.
respect on Johnny Bach's
kidding
name,
me?
you
Johnny-
whippersnapper.
Is
Johnny
that
Bach.
assistant coach from the 80s? I don't care about
What?
him.
Johnny
Wow.
Bach and
You
Tex
kidding
Winter.
me?
I mean, are you kidding
Johnny
me?
Bach and Tex Winters are gods. Might be Winter. I think I threw in an
You
S
did.
for
You
no
made him
reason.
Jonathan Winters.
Big Bulls fan over here.
What do you know how you have no appreciation for history? How do you not know who Johnny Bach is? Johnny, what did you call him?
Back,
I have
think.
Charlie
Johnny
Batch.
Batch.
I think I combined names there. Yeah.
Throw that cat in a garbage can is exactly
Cat
what I would have
hater. He's a cat
I
hater.
would have
I don't
That's-
respect a cat
Oh,
hater.
Johnny
But
Bach.
that's what Johnny
He
Bach
hated
says.
anything
Jonathan
but
Winters
basketball.
from Mork and Mindy?
Yes, that's the reference.
Johnny Beck made him a quarterback. John Beck.
John Beck, the Dolphins quarterback.
He's the Jets quarterback coach now.
No.
No, he's an
He is?
assistant
Zach
coach.
Wilson's
Wow.
personal coach.
He is
yeah.
Zach Wilson's personal
Oh,
coach.
no.
And,
Utah.
and so the Jets now hired him mid-season to
unbelievable.
guide Zach Wilson
John-
because they can't.
I want Josh Johnson's coach.
I want him to play.
I want his agent.
He might be playing. I want to see more Mike White.
How
That's
does
what
it-
I want to see.
Like, based off this season sample, the worst quarterback of the three that you've seen is Zach Wilson. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, far and away. Like, no,
Yeah, it's
no
easy.
question about
Now
it.
he's
go
had the most
White,
opportunities.
Josh Johnson and then Zach Wilson.
I would put the fake Aaron Rodgers in the TMZ photos ahead of.
Yeah.
The
Zach Wilson
Jets
right now.
I would
offense.
put
Did you see
Flacco
what-
ahead of him, Mike.
That was very weird. Shailene Woodley, like in her IG.
So yeah, so I guess TMZ put out pictures of Aaron Rodgers, quote unquote Aaron Rodgers, going somewhere yesterday with a mask on, and it wasn't actually Aaron Rodgers. Shailene Woodley decided on her Instagram story to just absolutely flame this guy who was just a random guy who TMZ thought was Aaron Rodgers. And this is what she said. No, it was wild. She said, literally, y'all need to calm the bleep down. This is
Vosotros.
straight up hilarious. News outlets still grasping at straws to disparage Aaron, finding random bleep men on the street of LA and saying it's him. I know Aaron's body very well. First off, his feet, ahem, and no offense to this rando dude, are a lot bigger. Winky face.
Wow, she gave the winky face
Whoa.
on a my fiance has a big penis joke.
And then she said, also, for those of us who know Aaron beyond the worlds of obsessed sports and bleep media, it's no secret he has the hairiest hands on the bleeping planet. This oblivious homie clearly does not. Go ahead, zoom in. Just some random guy.
Poor guy, man. He doesn't have
And that
hairy
was-
hands. What's he supposed to do?
and that was her
Jeez.
first comment on the matter, right? On the whole Aaron thing.
And
Because
then,
there was like rumors swirling, like, where is she? Like, where is she in all
right,
of this?
she hadn't said anything. And
People
then she
were
goes,
assuming that perhaps there was trouble in paradise, and this was a very staunch defense.
also, cute car dude, but Aaron would never drive this.
Oh, took
Why
out
did
his
she flame this guy?
wow car and his penis. His car and
This
his
dude
penis.
Well,
has
his
small
feet and
feet,
his
a cheap
hands.
car, and
And
hairless hands.
Hairless hands.
Look at
Put it-
this loser.
Guillermo-
He's not my
Put
boyfriend.
it on the poll, Guillermo, at Levitard show.
Why does anyone think that's Aaron Rodgers, though?
I have no
You
idea.
can't
I mean,
see any
you can't-
features on this person's face.
You really can't. He also is not built like an NFL quarterback. Like, it's just a random looking
that looks
guy.
like Scott Disick.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what happened there. Clearly the tabloids got it wrong, but she did not have to go that hard on her. She has 5 million followers on Instagram, and this poor man, whoever he is just like sitting at home, and his wife's probably like, hey, you're on Shailene Woodley's Instagram story, and now everyone's going to make fun of you for having a shitty car and small feet.
And she's going to leave him.
Put it on the poll at Levitard show, Guillermo. Did you know Aaron Rodgers had hairy hands? She says everyone knows that. Stugotz, did you see
Hairiest hands on the planet.
Kareem? Did you know?
Bleeping planet.
Did you know Aaron Rodgers had the hairiest hands on the bleeping planet?
Is this active or all time? Because George the Animal Steel.
Also put on the poll, or my father at Levitard.
I was going to say your dad. Did you know that about Aaron, though?
I did not. Whenever he has caressed my face, I've been too lost in delight to realize the hair on his hands. I also want to know at Levitard Show on Twitter, would it be a deal breaker for you if your significant other had hands that were too hairy? Yes or no. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Stugotz, has turned into a very good blogger, or as Breitbart calls him, far left multimillionaire political activist Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Those are 6 words that don't include what Kareem is famous for as an athlete. Comment like he can comment on sports as an expert when he's saying Aaron Rodgers didn't just lie and threaten the health of those around him. He also damaged professional sport. I love that Breitbart, the 6 words they choose don't have sports or sports expert. Far left multimillionaire political activist Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That kind of follows the algorithm of like 10 words that
It's
get
so
the most
good.
traffic there. I'm surprised NBA isn't in there, and also the fact that they didn't shoehorn an image of Megan Rapinoe is like bewildering.
Kareem says this. Also, Stugotz, I thought Howard Stern was unusually harsh on Aaron Rodgers, saying if it was his league, he'd run him out of the league right away, which that's not how that one works exactly. And also called him a selfish prick and all sorts of other things going after Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers, who likes to be liked, tried to soften some of that stuff without running away from it yesterday. Didn't do a great job, but that is a human being who likes to be liked, and the reports are that he's been hurt. Man, that one's got to hurt, Stugotz. When Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Aaron Rodgers doesn't think of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as far-left multimillionaire political activist. That's an athlete that young athletes are going to respect.
Right.
And when they start taking you out, like when the thing that got Drew Brees' attention on the anthem thing was like Ed Reed calling him a punk.
Mm-hmm.
When some of the legends of sport get to you, they don't care so much what we think or gas bags in the media. But when some of the legends in sport,
That's when he starts to care.
well, when Kareem actually marched with MLK and was at the center of a civil rights movement, what you get is what you got from Aaron yesterday. Hey, just an athlete here, not an activist. Like
Right.
this is I'm in over my head. Like not that's a back away from whoops.
Aaron's too smart to go with that. Like he's just, and everyone knows he's too smart. He had his chance on McAfee's show the first time to do it the right way. He didn't do it. I'm not certain he did it correctly. The second time on Pat McAfee's show.
But he softened it. There's no disputing.
I know he softened
but
it,
it wasn't.
but just say sorry. No qualifiers.
Well, but
just say
he's
sorry.
not. He stands by his words, Stugotz. He's not going to say I'm sorry if he just say sorry.
Well, it's the if I offended, if I misled, if I led you to believe. Like, you know what you did.
No, but Stugotz, he stood by the words. I'm talking about the flippant arrogance that was in the first interview wasn't there because a guy who likes to be liked got hurt by the reaction. That's a person. He doesn't know what it's like to be polarizing like that. It's one thing to have the Bears fan hate you because you own them every time. This is entirely different. He backed away from it. He's like, hey, athlete, not activist. Don't put me in this storm. This one's too big for me.
But he backed away after he received the reaction and blowback that he received. That's when he started. That's when most people back away.
But
I
that's
understand.
the only time he told the truth is when it was forced. Man, do you think, Stugotz, not everybody's as comfortable being known as a liar as you are?
Right.
Like that one can't.
It's a skill.
One can't feel good no matter how strong you think you are about sticking your face in a buzzsaw. And I don't know how much he is willing to fight as a crusader on behalf of the people who have now rallied around him. Because he sees what's happened there as well. Like I don't know. When you say he's too smart for X, Y, and Z, I thought initially, did he choose Rogan and McAfee because he was trying to speak, at least in part, to specific people? But that didn't seem to be what happened in the second McAfee interview. And when I say specific people, just to understand, okay, these audiences are disparate, but what you have in Aaron Rodgers, Kobe Bryant did some of this too. When you select certain outlets where you're putting your brand as a person who's careful, Aaron Rodgers is very careful about this, and you're doing Friends with Barstool, and you're appearing here, and you're citing Joe Rogan, and you're going on with McAfee, you're doing something that's a little counterculture there.
Course.
You're trying to not be quite in the mainstream avenues.
Because those things are often conflated with a political ideology, the vaccine stance I'm talking about. And Aaron Rodgers, it was mentioned earlier in the week that he didn't say much about the Kaepernick stuff. He actually said more than most quarterbacks on that. On social issues, I'd actually say he's been pretty decent about getting out there. Shailene Woodley supports Bernie Sanders. And all of a sudden, a lot of Republican politicians and voices are backing Aaron Rodgers. We saw this with Bradley Beal, who went at Ted Cruz because Ted Cruz was using Bradley Beal as a political pawn just because of his because of his vaccine stance.
Went out of his way, a Washington player, a player at the heart of politics, Bradley Beal, who will not get vaccinated, went out of his way to say, hey, Ted Cruz, don't put me, I'm not one of your allies here. But this is part of what's happened when all this stuff gets politicized, Stugotz. This is the thing about the fight that's been so interesting over the last 5 years, Stugotz. We're no longer at ESPN because ESPN and we couldn't be in the political fight anymore. Let's back away from this. Only use sports as a shield. And now these people are coming to sports and grabbing Beal and Kyrie Irving and Aaron Rodgers and weaponizing them, where now you've got, instead of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was marching with MLK, he's got to sit there and watch Aaron Rodgers quote MLK about masks. That's what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is watching. He's with Jim Brown and Bill Russell through the civil rights movement. He's tired and old, and at the end of whatever mortality is, and he's like, really? This guy, this mother, really? Aaron Rodgers on mask, you're going to quote MLK?
And Aaron's hurt by it.
What did you make of what Aaron said? I know you're getting to that. I thought it was very clearly him trying to move past all of this. He said, I don't take things personally. I was a little hurt by some of the stuff that was said out there, but it seemed as though he was trying to finally put some distance, and there were some lessons learned from his appearance.
I don't know about lessons learned. What I saw was somebody scalded who probably didn't expect, or maybe was naive about
how could he not expect that, though?
I mean...
Well, he said he stood behind what he said.
Yeah.
He just was sorry if he misled people prior to saying that.
That's the part that bothers me. If I misled you, you misled us. Like, you know what you did. Just
right, like he didn't
own
mislead us about what he
Right.
said last week on the McAfee show. He misled us about saying, yeah, I'm immunized a few months ago. So he's not apologizing for all of the things he said the first appearance. He stands behind that.
The misleading is where I kind of felt hurt the most. Actually, no, second most. What I was hurt most by Aaron Rodgers doing was irresponsibly with a big platform that naturally comes anytime Aaron Rodgers speaks, is espousing these kooky conspiracy theories and giving people someone with credibility to point at and say, see, it's all real.
But we were talking earlier in the show about one of the great dangers right now in America is the inability for people to discern between substance and bullshit. And all of it gets corroded with misinformation and almost all the things, no matter what you in the audience want to argue, as someone who had not heard, like me, of the coronavirus 24 months ago, did not know what it is and did not know that this is what it would do to us with divisions and the world. Aaron Rodgers is putting himself out there with things that can be debunked one after another. And one of the frustrating things that it's made its way into politics and arguments is you can counter facts with, I don't know about that, I think a different thing, or alternate truths, or just you have facts, never mind about your facts, I think this thing. It's like arguing my father when I was a child, but you know, we've talked about how Google, Stugotz, has ended the sports argument.
Yes.
And we still want to argue. When I give my father a fact, his response would be, I don't know about that. And then just a mushroom cloud of not being able to move if facts don't matter to you. And what Kareem is writing in his blog is,
we've arrived in a world that I want to live in. I mean,
here it is, Stugotz. This is the world. An apocalypse burning around you where you can just lie freely and steal money.
I think you were about to say the part that I was going to read from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's Substack article, but he said statistically only 21 out of 2 million vaccinated people have had severe allergic reactions. He also expressed concern over fertility issues, even though there is a greater risk of infertility from COVID-19, which he has.
Well, those three words is what I'm saying is coming back from civil rights 1960s. Those three words, which he has. Like that was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar filled with fury as a writer, just saying, hey, Aaron Rodgers, you risk infertility more with COVID, which you have.
That's well done, man.
Which he has. No, I mean, it is. It's
well done.
It's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar lighting some flames here. And I think we've run the gamut over the last week around here. of being disappointed with Aaron Rodgers in a way that felt a little bit like, given that our show is not the emotional show, it felt a little bit to me, Mike, like what has happened throughout families in America over the last 18 months, 20 months, 24 months, where you're looking at people you thought you knew and you're like, wait a minute, you've got that there. And it doesn't mean that you check all of the other boxes, because I do feel that's what Aaron Rodgers was trying to do yesterday. Say, is soften it to like, hey, I'm not checking all the other boxes you think I check because I'm checking this one. This is about my body, about my freedom, and about certain things that I might believe because of internet brain rot that can be debunked.
Which I guess he did.
But it doesn't mean that I check all the other boxes that might be more problematic in my locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would personally prefer him saying that rather than me thinking that, but that's his prerogative.
I would prefer him not invoking Dr. King's name, as we mentioned, because he's a martyr and he was assassinated. I don't think that Aaron Rodgers would want that in his life. And we need to actually stop invoking Dr. King's name for bullshit, basically. And that's been happening lately.
Not lately. It's been happening for a good long bit.
Mike, he has to pay, Rodgers does, Allen Lazard's fine, right? Because no one cares about Lazard. No one would know about Lazard unless Aaron Rodgers, unless this all happened to Rodgers, right?
If you want to be real with it, he should probably pay the Packers fine too. Because
who else is going to do it?
They got fined the heaviest because of that party, and they turned aside and let that happen, and now they're getting punished the most for it, and they let that happen in part because of the narrative surrounding this entire season.
I think
you should get a 10-game suspension at the very least.
At the very least.
And forfeit the wins.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, okay.
I think I might need to end up on Stugotz's and Billy's side here, that this is a master plan to tank the organization.
It's a long play, Dan. We told you.
From inside causing a $300,000 fine.
That would be signing Odell.
I mean, the craziest thing in all of this is that Jordan Love looked pretty bad this weekend, so the Packers are probably going to want Aaron Rodgers back next season.
Mike, according to sources, OBJ is considering the Chiefs, the Packers, and the Saints.
Yeah, it was also reported that he wants to join a team that's a playoff contender. It's kind of weird. He had that already.
Well, according to a text from Chris Cote to me and Tony this morning, quote, sources, Odell's signing with the Patriots. And that was it. He disappeared.
Wait, Cody has sources?
Apparently, and he just texted it to me and Tony.
Why just you two, though?
I don't know. Should I not have said that? Because I guess Cody's my source in this.
Yeah, you burned your own source.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
Cody?
well, Chris Cody.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are internationally the 6th ranked
That's right.
football
and climbing,
insider.
hopefully.
Do you not know? But do you not know how to use sources?
Well, it's clearly nonsense.
But you betrayed your source.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to need
source.
But it's
not
a
going to need to go
secondhand
back. Yeah, I don't need to go back. I don't know the original source. I'm just telling you my source, you know?
He was watching Get Up.
So Greeny was his source.
I don't know how we feel about the recent trend of Frank Gore is fighting Deron Williams on the undercard of.
I'm intrigued.
Are you really? You're intrigued. Deron Williams is a good bit bigger than Frank Gore, but I would not want to fight Frank Gore on any terms, any circumstances, and he's been working on his boxing for a while. Frank Gore would still like to be in the NFL, headed to Canton 3.5 yards at a time. I believe that if he gets knocked out, he'll still fall forward 3.5 yards.
He's still making it to Canton, though, Frank Gore, right? He is. He has to.
3.5 yards at a time. And if it's the 3.5, if it's Deron Williams punching him and he falls forward 3.5 yards out of the ring, he'll be 3.5 yards closer to Canton.
It'll take a decade, but 3 votes at a time. We'll get in there.
I didn't know I wanted to see Deron Williams beat up so badly.
Same here.
It was weird how that hit me.
Especially by Frank Gore for some reason.
The combination of the two things really delighted me.
It works for me.
Because I read that he was negotiating to fight on the card. And I'm like, oh, great. I would really like to see someone beat up Deron Williams. And then I found out it was Frank Gore. I'm like, that's the only person I want to see beat up Deron Williams. Don't give me a replacement, please. I hope nobody signs him.
Isn't this the appeal of this entire new strain of boxing? The idea of I want to see if that guy gets knocked out.
I can't believe this isn't the main event now. Bye-bye, Jake Paul.
You're so right. I think what Mike is saying, though, and he's right, is you can hook me in if you have the right pairing. And for some reason, Deron Williams is a guy I always wanted to see get beat up. Like, that's it. You got to find that guy. And then you got to find someone that you want to see beat him up, you know?
What was it, the contract?
Yeah, the underachieving.
I really like
all
that
of it.
Illinois team.
Yeah.
Do you assume that anyone who's partaking in these, like in any celebrity boxing match, needs the money? Is that an assumption?
No.
That's unfair to make that assumption?
Did Deron Williams and Frank Gore have some sort of beef that we're unaware of, or they just want to fight?
I think they're just here for this check. And Frank Gore always kind of feels like he has something to prove. I think he just wants to put on. This is going to be a top 10 moment in the University of Miami in the 21st century. It'll be like the Notre Dame victory, number one, clear and obvious.
Right.
Well, actually, no, we won a championship in the 21st century, so I should say that. But after the Coker years, beating Notre Dame, the Cornelder return, and Frank Gore kicking Deron Williams' ass.
Is that your Cornelder return?
No,
Or
not
the
mine.
original.
The original.
The original.
Because I feel like yours has to be a top 3 also for the
Unfortunately,
university.
that's a big indictment on the program. But yeah, my parody call of Joe Zagaki's call is at least top 30
Yes.
post-Coker.
I
Of
wouldn't
course,
mind getting a minute from Jessica on the college football rankings, but I do believe we are in prime territory here, Mike. This one, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I believe Jessica's Notre Dame Fighting Irish are fraudulent. I believe that since the beginning of the season.
How are we starting it with
Wow.
that?
This is why I'm starting with this, because I believe we're headed toward a Virginia storm the field situation after beating your team this weekend.
Notre Dame could lose to Virginia. They have a dynamic quarterback who also may or may not play. He has some injury concerns. It's going to be a game time decision. However,
you guys always catching breaks with backup quarterbacks in the ACC.
have you even watched a Notre Dame game since like week 3?
They have a new
Dan?
quarterback now, right? Do they have a new
They
quarterback?
have 3 quarterbacks. Jack Cohn is still the
means
starter.
you don't have
However,
one.
they have Tyler Buckner coming in for goal situations, who is a great running quarterback. He's a true freshman, which like that never happens at Notre Dame. And they have Drew Pine, who's like their actual number 2 quarterback, who's played a few
couldn't
series.
Ian Book could scoot.
No, a true freshman. I
Okay,
mean,
all
Notre
right.
Dame usually doesn't play true freshmen because the course load is so difficult at Notre Dame. You know, just like the University of Washington.
Are you scared of Virginia? Yes or no? Virginia?
I'm scared of everything, Dan. This season, I mean, the season's gone like really well, and it had the opportunity to be like really terrible after the first 2 games. But they're 8-1 right now, and their only losses to Cincinnati, which is a top 5 team according to the playoff committee.
Billy, the last we heard from you on college football was when Virginia was taking out Mike Ryan's Hurricanes. Mike Ryan's Hurricanes hit an upright to lose the game, and you just tweeted LOL.
Yeah. Did you know it's Miami FSU week?
Oh,
That's
who
crazy.
cares?
Well, that's
I
the
mean,
crazy thing. That seems to be the attitude. I found out because I saw that there's some watch party at Marlins or Lone, whatever it's called, and then you could take batting practice on the field at this watch party.
It still matters.
I didn't know
to
that
me.
was this week.
Yeah, I don't want to pollute the airwaves with it, but it still matters to me.
Yeah.
I'm
why
going
aren't
to-
you excited?
I am super excited.
Get
for
hyped.
It. Oh, well, I'm super. I'm going to USA Mexico in Cincinnati. That's on Friday night, and I made sure to book the earliest flight out of Cincinnati so I can just be in Miami and feel the atmosphere of Miami FSU at 3:30. And you know, it just doesn't matter nationally.
I never thought
as
you'd
it shouldn't.
choose America over the Canes.
Well, I didn't. I'm choosing both. And I would have found my way in Tallahassee if that game had real
But
consequences.
this is such a sad football thing that's happening around here where Chris Cote,
They're
who's
going to win the ACC by accident.
Well, that begins tomorrow night with Pittsburgh, North Carolina. Go Tar Heels if you're a Canes fan.
Chris Cote has left the Dolphin season because before it got to the halfway point, he became a Charger fan after having this sport passed down by his dad because he's just sort of broken by football's never interesting to me any season. The idea that we just almost skipped past FSU week, and I know our audience is sitting here saying, like, why would they talk about that even as much as they're talking about it right now?
And I brought it up of all people.
I'm with you, audience. I would have gone the entire week not talking about it.
Do you remember what a big deal we made of
Oh
that
my
game when
God.
we first started out on the
Every week,
radio?
not just first started out, the first decade that we were doing it because we had 20 years at the top of college
There's
football.
only this year and a the year that Kirby Freeman won there randomly. I think it's the only year that it felt like it didn't really matter. This is the least this matchup has mattered. In
Well,
the last
because
few years.
FSU is laughing stock bad.
Yeah, and they have been for the last couple of years, but Miami was ranked late in the year, and those games had ACC consequence. This one does too for Miami, but come on, it's laughable. It's gonna rate well because it always kind of does. That's why I was given that 3:30 window, but it just doesn't matter.
But let's do it this way, Stugotz. As you see,
It has the 3:30 window.
FSU Miami always rates well. Miami is historically a very good television rating program.
Wasn't that Michael Irving, like Phil Collins thing for an FSU game?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, that song, I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan of In the Air Tonight?
what?
No.
It doesn't do it for you?
I'm gonna get crushed. Not a fan.
Really? How about the non-point version for the Michael Mann Miami Vice movie?
No.
Yeah, new metal. It was just right at the end of it. Didn't do it for me.
Why was that movie so bad?
Jamie Foxx and Michael Mann, pretty much. But really, if I could blame anybody, Jamie Foxx.
It's
don't
not
like
Colin
Jamie Foxx?
Farrell.
You don't like Jamie
I haven't
Foxx?
told you about my obsession with Michael Mann's Miami Vice. I've read like several articles. It was like a huge cluster bleep. Famously so.
That should have been so good. During the 80s, Miami coming up, Miami Vice was one of the most popular shows on television, taught people how to use music on television. I don't know if they changed the form, but it was superficially Miami, long before the birth of one Mike Ryan.
I've done these shows. I've done the Michael Mann Miami Vice cluster bleep. Go read articles on this. This is like
On your shows about it.
I've done shows maybe without Dan, but we've done Levitard shows obsessing over this movie.
You can't convince me that Colin Farrell could play Sonny Crockett.
You know he's the Penguin.
Yeah.
Did
He's a
you know
penguin.
that?
Yeah, he's
I
wearing a bunch of
googled him the other
prosthetics.
day. I'm like, where has he been? And I found out he's the Penguin in a Batman movie that's coming
Did
up.
you watch a trailer? A lot of people didn't
No.
recognize him in the trailer. He's pretty unrecognizable.
He gained weight.
It's hard to recognize the guy when
got
he's the
prosthetics.
penguin.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's got a,
Unless you're Ron
well,
Say.
Danny DeVito wore a lot of
Ron Say.
prosthetics too. It goes beyond the prosthetics. No, Google Colin Farrell the Penguin. He looks nothing like Colin Farrell. He's got like balding hair.
Sorry.
It's wild. You didn't think Colin Farrell was the best part about that movie? I thought
I think both of them were really miscast.
they really didn't get along. Jamie Foxx threatened to leave the picture, actually left the picture momentarily. They filmed in the middle of a hurricane. People died. People died.
Oh my God, he's totally unrecognizable. No one will know that that's Colin Farrell. No one will know. No one will watch that and know that's a better disguise than Tom Cruise at the end of Tropic Thunder as, what was it, Les Nessman?
Yeah.
That's the WKRP,
Gro-
that's the
Wow.
Les
WKRP
Grossman?
guy, Les
The
Grossman.
PD.
Yeah, Les Grossman. Yeah.
Yeah, but as soon as someone tells you that's Tom Cruise, you're like, I see it. I know that that's Colin Farrell, and I still don't see it at all.
No, I can't see it. I cannot see Colin Farrell in there. It's the same thing that happened to Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, he's apparently in talks for an HBO Max show on a spinoff of the Penguin character.
I don't like it.
What?
I feel like that role should have gone to an ugly person.
Wow.
Why
Yeah.
does Colin Farrell have to go and take the job away from an ugly person?
That is so good,
It's
Billy.
like when Bryan Cranston kind of got canceled for taking a wheelchair
Yes,
role.
it's
Instead of it going to a
why
wheelchair
it's why
person.
Hank Azaria got his big break in Birdcage and could never do that role again, because
I'm
all
sorry I called it a wheelchair person. I'm just talking.
Yeah. Wheelchair bound.
I'm just so afraid of wheelchair
All
bound
of
is
it.
probably what I said.
you're just
but,
afraid of all of it.
yeah. There's a whole chapter in Colin Jost's book about this, but he doesn't mention that Scarlett Johansson. He's like defending. We're doing the book club, the Colin Jost book club, and I think, am I
It's a
the
good
only person
listen.
that has started this?
Well, you're listening to it.
I
Other
don't
people
know
have
anything about it.
ordered it, I believe.
Well, I wish this is. He tells you a lot during the audio book. Order the physical book so you can see all these pictures. I'm like, I'm not double dipping here, Colin Jost. But he talks. There's like,
Wasn't it free though on Audible?
well, no, Audible is a pay service, and you
Oh.
have credits. Every month you get a new credit. So for me to burn a credit on this Colin Jost book when there is a massive Seth Wickersham book out there that I can't, like, I don't even know how I'm going to start this thing, Dan.
You just push play.
Hit play.
No, I can't. I can't pull this thing off the shelf. It's huge.
Shelf.
But
Okay.
the Colin Jost book, he has a whole passage about, like, isn't this acting? He uses Idris Elba because there was an SNL sketch that he wrote about can you play that role? And Idris Elba wonders aloud, but isn't assuming an identity that isn't yours acting? Isn't acting like you're wheelchair bound, like art in its purest form. But he has this entire passage in the book, and he never once references Scarlett Johansson in all of this, who is like the lead example of someone trying to take roles that they probably shouldn't in 2021.
But Billy has it exactly right. This role should have gone to an ugly person. That's why they gave it to DeVito all those years ago.
DeVito was great.
Forgot about him.
Yeah,
He
DeVito
was
should have gotten
perfect for it,
DeVito
yeah.
should have gotten nominated
It's good
for his
casting.
portrayal.
Yeah.
I'll be-
Everyone forgets about him.
No, man, DeVito's great. You're not a Sonny fan. That's
I'm
all
just
it is.
telling you, if you were to ask, hey, 100 celebrities you want to hang out with, you wouldn't put Danny on your list.
All right, well,
Not
I
to
mean,
bring
he
this
did
back to
twins.
yesterday.
Well, if we asked George
Twins!
Clooney,
What does that mean?
if we asked George Clooney, Danny DeVito would be his number one.
Hmm.
George Clooney's a celebrity, right?
No, I'm not asking celebrities. I'm
Yeah.
asking
think-
you what celebrity you'd want to drink with. You'd forget Danny DeVito.
No,
I
wouldn't
think
forget.
Billy's
I'd
right.
forget Danny DeVito if I hung out with Danny DeVito because my night would have been so legendary. I would have been blacked out.
All of a
Right.
sudden,
Who was
Danny
that
DeVito's in everyone's
He would
top
not
5.
be in your top 100.
Get
There-
outta here.
Billy's right. He
No,
would not.
No,
Get
you're
outta
talking
here.
to an It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fan. Frank Reynolds would absolutely be in my top 100.
I feel like there's 100 hurricanes you would choose before Danny DeVito.
100.
Not 100, Stephen Morris, certainly. Chooch. Let down.
It's no disrespect to Danny DeVito. I hope Danny doesn't think I hope I'm not offended.
Kind
Danny,
of
sure
if you're
Danny's
listening,
fine.
I'm
You
Kind of
probably
a-
sorry.
did,
yeah,
actually.
You know, Danny DeVito has had decades in the industry. It's a
Yeah.
decade-long run for someone.
That's fine.
Like, it's one of the more unlikely careers. It started with Taxi and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. If you stack up his resume against many of his contemporaries,
The Rob
he's the
Mama
only one
from a
that's still
train.
standing, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not talented. I'm just saying you would forget to include him in your
I
list.
agree. I agree.
So he's others receiving votes in your top 100.
Yes.
It's a weird thing that you're
Outside
betting
looking
on.
in.
Me just merely forgetting.
Can we,
I don't even think he's others, Dan. Danny DeVito would never even enter my mind
No.
in terms of
What is with this show's agenda against Danny
It's
DeVito?
not-
He's a pleasant man.
There's a lot of celebrities
There's
out
no
there.
anti-Danny DeVito sentiment here.
I
It
like
feels like
him.
it.
Yeah, he's
Feels like
fine.
it.
Yeah, he's fine.
I agree with both sides of
Thank
this
you.
argument, which is Danny DeVito is a top 100 celebrity. However,
I don't know about
all
that
of
either.
all of
Top
us
one-
what?
I'm
No,
not so
I'm
certain.
not even
Listen to
arguing
me.
that.
Top
Worldwide?
100.
Let me finish my
You're being
goddamn
very
thought
myopic.
for once
Yeah.
during today's show.
Ever heard of
All right.
One
Bollywood?
time during today's show, let me
No.
finish a thought.
Top 100 hang, you mean. Celebrity hang.
I agree with both sides.
Is there more to the thought?
I mean, that's very rare.
trying to let
Very
you
rare.
finish.
No,
I
I'm
feel like you
laughing
got
at
that one out.
Stugotz laughing. I'm laughing at Stugotz laughing. It's what I'm laughing at because he's off mic and he's shaking with giggling here because I want to finish the thought of I agree with both sides. Tony, when he puts Danny DeVito in the top 100, and Billy, who says, yes, you might want to do that, but you will forget once you get down.
You
all of
panic.
us, everyone
You
listening,
will.
everyone
such a
listening will
ridiculous
indeed. I agree.
You're at like 87,
I agree
you know?
with both sides of this
panic.
argument.
You're going to circle back like 2.5 years from now and make me put together a 100 list. And when I get to 99, you're going to be like, aha! Got you, brother.
We are going to hunt you down. I believe it's somebody you would forget to put
All right,
in
coming
your...
tomorrow, my top 100 celebrities I'd want to hang out with.
And Dan's second favorite Christmas song.
Oh, man, it's a big
what
day
a
tomorrow.
big day.
Stugotz, can you tell me whether or not you saw what Ryan Clark said that went viral because he was explaining how absurd it is that an NFL referee or NFL rules would penalize taunting in the way that would affect the result of a game?
You want me to tell you what Ryan Clark said?
Did you either noticed it or you didn't? I know what
I
he
did
said.
not notice it, no.
Okay, so Ryan Clark said that, and the way he articulated it actually reached people on this when he objected to taunting
Mhm.
and took all the other stuff out of it. And he said, "You ask me to care about this thing in a way that puts needles in all parts of my body so that I can play. I'm in meeting rooms dying so that I can make a play, one play in a game. I'm in meeting rooms all week so that I get the chance to make that one play. I'm in ice tubs. I'm punishing my body so that I can make the one play. And then Wellington Mara's kid is going to take it away from me because he doesn't like and doesn't understand the emotion of how hard I've worked to make that one play for this
Right.
army of men who I play a gladiator sport with. You're going to take it from me because you don't understand what it feels like to make that play. You don't understand the work it takes to get into position all week, all my life. All week, all my life to get to that play.
It's smart. I agree with him. It's not surprising coming from Ryan Clark because he's excellent at what it is that he does, both as a player and as an analyst, and he's 100% right. How could the owner possibly understand what Ryan Clark puts himself through every single week just to get himself out on the field and then makes that play after going through all of that and can't express any emotion?
Wouldn't you
He's
want-
1,000% correct.
Wouldn't you? 1,000%.
Yeah, I've never gone that far.
1,000% correct. He's
I
10
think I went-
times as
yeah.
right as the normal maximum right.
I mean, how could you dispute that? You have owners making decisions and rules on behalf of players who are going through all that pain on a weekly basis just to get themselves back out there to play.
It's not just pain, it's pain and work. And to me, the reason that reached people is because you got to get past all the armor, Stugotz. You got to get past the muscles. You got to get past the money gulf between the people who boo their sports
and humanize it a
and
little
how
bit.
they think those people out there playing a game. When those guys, when they're in meeting rooms or hurting or in the ice tub, it doesn't feel much like a game. And the people who object to how could you sit or lose money or not want to play or not give maximum effort at every single time at work the way that I give maximum effort every time at work, and that I would give even more effort than you, 1,000% effort if I got to do that job for that money.
Right.
What Ryan Clark did, I thought that reached people was like, oh yeah, that's stupid. Oh yeah, that's stupid.
Like, think about this.
I think,
like I'm putting myself through all of this, and I can't.
Making the rules
Right.
so that a guy who's working, climbing over all that to get to that play, is being told by Wellington Mara's kid, yeah, we don't like the lack of sportsmanship and putting up deuces when you win the Super Bowl in front of Tyreek Hill.
I want to say it's impossible to disagree with Ryan Clark, but I'm certain people did.
Well, you already said it though at 1,000%.
Yeah, but I'm certain people disagree.
You can't agree. You can't disagree with someone who's 1,000. Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Can you disagree with someone who's 1,000% right?
He has to prove himself week in and week out, but I guess that's the expectation that comes with a number 1 overall draft pick, right?
Why is it exhausting? I mean, he does. He kind of put himself in that position.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly
Yes.
did, but we mentioned a couple of days ago on the post game that Justin Herbert for a couple of weeks prior to playing the Eagles, where the Eagles surrender 80% completion percentage to everybody they face. Justin Herbert kind of had a quiet few weeks, and you wouldn't have known about it. Joe Burrow wasn't getting slammed in the media this week for a down performance against Cleveland. If Baker had the performance Joe Burrow had,
Yep.
we wouldn't have heard the end of it. There is something about Baker Mayfield. Focus groups really are super receptive to Baker Mayfield content. That's why he is a talking point on every first take. There is a large sample that suggests Baker Mayfield is not just a good quarterback without Odell Beckham Jr.,
Yep.
but a very good quarterback without Odell Beckham Jr. And yet all that didn't matter last week as OBJ did his drama and people were picking sides. And they oddly sided with a player in OBJ who I think can still be good if he lands at the right spot. They sided with him, a player that hasn't been a dominant football force since 2016, over a player that led the Cleveland Browns.
Mm-hmm.
I think that matters. The Cleveland Browns
Sure.
to a playoff victory,
Yeah.
to a divisional round appearance,
Right.
while he was playing at a very high level.
Is this something that is actually like, is the Browns organization worried about Baker, or is this just kind of noise and people, because they know Mike's a Browns fan, like people are probably just tweeting Mike a lot about this. I don't know. Like, is it a league-wide thing that people were really questioning Baker? I feel like people are just like maybe a little inaccurate at times, but overall, a solid quarterback.
Well, first off, with Joe Burrow, it's his second season. It's Baker's third or fourth, I think, Mike. And Joe Burrow's coming off a bad knee injury, and he's had better games. He's had moments that Baker hasn't, even though you just pointed out that Baker won a playoff game. The Ravens game.
Ravens game? Okay.
That was a big moment.
Okay, well,
I'm just saying it's just a second season. I'm not
Baker
saying
Mayfield's had moments too, and they haven't mattered.
I'm not saying what we're doing to Baker Mayfield is fair. I'm not suggesting that it is. He is being judged in a way that we've really never judged the quarterback, almost on a week-to-week basis. What makes it so intriguing and fascinating about Baker Mayfield is the Browns have a massive financial decision to make, and you want to be certain that you're making the right decision with the most important position in sports. That's why I think people are intrigued by it.
Well, I mean, even before that contract was in play, he moves the needle. He's got that it quality. He's got that it factor. That's why he gets commercials and all that. But to answer Chris Cote's question, is this a conversation that's being had in Berea at the training complex? Yeah, very clearly, because the decision that he just outlined, the fact that they didn't give him that contract. And Baker, I think, has handled this whole Odell situation really well in the press. He hasn't been giving canned answers. He's handled it the right way, but he's like, well, yeah, last week was a bit bullshit. Man to man, I've met these people. I still haven't spoken to Odell. Odell, for the frustrations on the field, he has a lot of allies in that locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of teammates talking that noise. Baker was really taken aback by that criticism coming from within that locker room. Baker likes to consider himself a good rah-rah leader. He goes on golfing trips with Odell. He was really shocked by this. It was great to see him respond, because this was another Waterloo game for Baker Mayfield. He's had far too many of them this season. After every loss, it almost feels like he has to come back and respond. And he's doing all this with a broken shoulder. Mm-hmm. That matters too. He is presently on pace for a career year with a broken shoulder.
Mike so desperately wants him to be his quarterback, and I understand why.
No, I so desperately don't want to shove him out the door.
Right.
I am willing to acknowledge that the Cleveland Browns could obviously upgrade at the quarterback position if they took one of several quarterbacks from other AFC and NFC teams and put them right in that spot. If Aaron Rodgers was available in the upcoming offseason and we were still doing the song and dance with Baker Mayfield, I would jump at the chance to get Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
I concede that Baker Mayfield isn't an elite quarterback. He needs a lot of things to go well for him. But I push back at the notion that I have to push him out the door just because he isn't Aaron Rodgers, just because he isn't Patrick Mahomes. If he's Kirk Cousins, I don't want him going anywhere.
Right.
I've spent 20 years in the Siberian wilderness looking for someone as good as Kirk Cousins.
But Chris, that's why this conversation is so fascinating.
Well, does he want elite money? Is that the thing here? That's the holdup. Is he probably wants top 3 money, he deserves 11 to 14 money.
He wants to be slotted in. But think about your two teams, okay? The Chargers and the Dolphins, okay? Like you know Herbert's good. Mm-hmm. You would sign that check right now.
I would.
Whatever it is, you'd give it to him, right? You're not
I feel
giving
like Baker's kind of in that.
But that's the.
But
some
I would say to
don't.
him, hey, you're not Mahomes. You're not here. I'll give you good money, but it's going to be 6th best in the league.
But
money.
with
I would
Herbert,
do that if I'm the Browns.
You know you're not giving it to Tua. Like at this point, you're not giving that.
You know you're not giving him elite money. I think the jury's still out on Tua too. Like Tua could be a fine quarterback, a guy you sign.
Right.
Not like that's where I don't know what Baker and Tua if they just want to keep doing that thing where the next guy's the highest paid guy. That's where I would push back if I'm the Browns. You're not getting the biggest contract ever, Baker.
I'm glad you brought that up because Chris Sims keeps saying to me and Billy on a weekly basis, why do these guys have to be the next guy that makes the most money? Why can't they slot themselves in? Why does Baker have to make more than the next guy?
Because
why can't he take a little less, recognizing that he's not as good as the next guy?
I get him
That's
wanting
what all
it.
the agents want.
Yeah.
And trust me, and I don't want Baker being paid like he's a top guy, but I'm also willing to concede in 3 years he'll be paid like the 7th top guy.
Right.
And I'm fine with that if the Cleveland Browns continued on this path right now, which is without Odell Beckham Jr., that offense is elite. They just put up 41 points. They barely had the ball.
Yeah.
They barely had the ball,
Mm-hmm.
and they dominated the Cincinnati Bengals. They don't have to give him the contract. They can do the song and dance that
Do you
the
think
Cowboys did with Dak Prescott. They have his rights. They can franchise him. We can still play the long game and try to see what kind of quarterback he is. He's been hard to figure out, obviously. We're still 3.5 seasons into his career trying to figure out if he's good or worthy of paying the money to. So I'm willing to stretch that out a little bit longer.
Do you think a team would, though? Like another team? If the Browns didn't, do you think any team would?
That's why you got to pay the guys, because if Baker Mayfield hit an open market, someone else would pay him that.
Right.
The Cleveland Browns wouldn't be the only team entertaining the possibility of signing him to the richest contract at the position. Other teams would. And it's a matter of locking your guy up and making sure what you have to do from a roster construction standpoint after that. Because we've seen the talent that had to leave the Seattle Seahawks organization once Russell started getting that big contract money. You're going to see it with the Buffalo Bills. Once they start paying him, you're going to even start seeing it with the Kansas City Chiefs because of what they're paying Patrick Mahomes eventually. From a roster construction standpoint, you pay the guy, but you make concessions over there, and you just have in the back of your mind, we're paying the elite quarterback, and Stugotz, applying some Stugotz logic here. If you have the elite quarterback, if he's worthy of having that big contract, you'll be in the playoffs no matter what. That's all that matters.
I think you identified the problem, though, as it relates to Baker. We're 3.5 years in, and you're still wondering if he's great. Not good. He's good. He's a gamer. He's a leader. You're wondering if he's great.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Well, because
no one knows.
And my contention, and if you were forming an argument to support Baker with data, my contention is solely we don't know that because Odell Beckham Jr. has been on the field with him so much.
Right.
Because when he wasn't, as a rookie, Baker Mayfield set the rookie passing touchdown record. When he wasn't on the field last year, outside of a couple of bad weather games that happened immediately after that ACL injury to Odell, Baker was spectacular. He is a very good quarterback.
Do you think that was
without
part of
Odell?
Do you think that was part of the reason? Hey, let's see what this looks like for 8 games with Odell just out of here, out. Like not just not playing, out of here.
I'm very frustrated and disappointed that it ended the way that it did. Some would say from the outside that this was the only way that it could possibly end with Odell and the Cleveland Browns. It's really unfortunate because he can still be dynamic if you put the ball in his hands. And for whatever reason, we couldn't get the ball in his hands. And just in short yardage, get him in space. He can still have game-breaking speed. He can still be dynamic. And another team will absolutely use him well, I think. I also don't think he's that guy that he was in 2016. I think he's, like a gadget guy.
Right.
A guy that could, like a Dexter McCluster type, but a super souped-up version of that. Get the ball in his hands. He's going to make something happen, a game breaker.
So my question is this, Mike. Is this bucking the notion that you need to have elite outside guys to be good, right? Because if Baker can do it with Donovan Peoples-Jones, with Rashard Higgins, with, whoever the wide receiver du jour is, you're saying that he can be really great now, possibly without having to focus in on Odell Beckham all the time? Like, is it just okay with having Chubb,
I think you play more more freely when you don't feel like you have to force the ball to one wide receiver.
Elite guy now, right? You don't need an elite guy?
I would like better receivers than not good receivers.
Not just a good teammate.
Yeah. And look, Jarvis, I would like a good teammate. But
Yes.
Jarvis Landry, the thing that always confused me about, wow, it's a huge indictment on Baker that he couldn't work it out with Odell. I agree. It's an indictment on him and the coaching staff. It's also an indictment on Odell. But if you're going to apply that logic, please explain to me why Jarvis Landry continued making Pro Bowls with Baker Mayfield. He can work with one good receiver, but he can't work with the other. Okay, I'm willing to accept that. What is Odell doing that's different? And we've gone back and forth, whether it's Baker is too short or freelancing on routes. Even while I celebrate, and I'll talk my shit on Twitter just because of the week that I had prior to Pro Football Focus grade, even I meet those grades with skepticism. I don't know the routes. I don't know the scheme. I don't know the blocking assignments. I don't know communication backgrounds. And while Chris Collinsworth is attached, and I'm sure he tries to get inside intel, and people try to have relationships with coaches, that's always kind of been the problem with Pro Football Focus. We're kind of guessing.
But if you've learned anything from me, and you probably haven't, but if you have learned anything from me, it's live in the now. And for now, you have the best quarterback in the NFL. Congratulations.
Based off of PFF grade?
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys see what happened to Nick Sirianni? It just made me sad.
It was weird. Who throws flowers?
Yeah, well,
It's someone that they're upset with.
No, apparently last week he called the Eagles a growing flower. And so they lost to the Chargers, and then he's walking off the field and someone threw a bouquet. I don't know. It just for some
But when
reason.
you shower someone with flowers, it's you're
Historically.
complimenting him. You usually
Right.
slap him in the face
But
with
he
flowers.
did the thing where he
Right.
saw it and like he had to be held back. Like he wanted to do the thing where it's like, hey, who
Yeah,
do
well,
that?
don't throw shit at people.
That's I mean obvious, but
Period.
it just made me. It was just like so. I don't know. It just made me feel sad for him. I don't know why.
I mean, I don't think it's going to work out for Nick Sirianni in Philadelphia, and I base that solely off of his introductory press conference.
Yeah, that's right.
So I just kind of feel like we're winding the clock down on this one.
You'd be 2 for 2. You said the same thing about Gase after his.
Yeah, it just got the bad vibes from it initially. But, I mean, considering what was available for Philadelphia fans to throw, this is an upgrade.
Tony,
That's
is Jalen Hurts still good?
Well,
that
yes,
was a thing you had.
I was about to just get to that. And by the way, it's interesting because Nick Sirianni's tied now to Jalen Hurts. It wasn't his guy to begin with, but now he's got to kind of revolutionize the offense to make that work. And it sucks because the Eagles have missed on so many draft picks, and I think they hit on Devonta Smith. Obviously, he's incredible, Heisman winner and stuff. But like, you can build an offense around a quarterback that can move. We've seen that with Lamar. We've seen that, in some terms with Baker, where you can kind of move him out of the pocket and stuff. But it's like, what do you do with Jalen Hurts, right? Do you have to rebuild again and now destroy everything again? Jalen Reagor's kind of a bust. Devontae Smith's good. You got Goddard. You got to give away Ertz. Like, what do you do?
I
with
feel
this
like we
team?
just find ourselves in these kind of conversations with every quarterback that's in that 10 to 20 range. If we're ranking all the quarterbacks, the Bakers, the Tannehills, I'm not saying, Baker's probably better than Hurts and Tannehill, but
It was the Flacco Eli range.
But those
correct.
like middle
Right.
10
The team
quarterbacks,
guys.
when they play good, you're like, okay, this guy could be my guy. When they play bad, you're like, nope, not the answer. So I just feel like we're running in circles with these type of things. Like we're always just gonna there's just guys like not everybody can be top 5. There's gonna be guys that are just good.
I kind of feel like Kirk Cousins is the one that we turn the corner on now, because I think we've all established that this is just what Kirk Cousins is. And if Kirk Cousins puts up 34 points against the Baltimore Ravens, you got to win that game because it's Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
And Kirk Cousins is going to put up a stinker, and he's going to lose to a backup for the Dallas Cowboys, and then he'll come within a missed field goal of beating the Arizona Cardinals at home like he should have. I think that's just the book on these players.
Who's the quarterback that has done winning? No. Who's the quarterback that is thought of as good, really good, but hasn't done enough winning? Is Matt Ryan the guy where it's like everyone says he's really
He's
good?
up 28-3 in the Super Bowl.
I mean, Matt Ryan's going to the Hall of Fame.
No, I know.
Yes.
That's what I mean. My point is like
Yes.
but he hasn't. I mean, you're right. He was in that Super Bowl, but overall, and the teams have been good.
I would say
Stafford.
Dak is really
He's young
good.
though, right? He's younger than Matt Ryan.
He is, but I'm saying he's really good, and they haven't done any winning.
An offshoot of that game is who's the guy that was considered super good, but if you hold their stats up to not just a modern era, just in general, you're like, wow, I thought Troy Aikman was a lot better. I thought Troy Aikman was so good. Wow, I thought Joe Namath was a lot better. Because Troy Aikman was very quick with criticism on Jordan Love. Understanding it's Jordan Love's second year, and he's got obviously a lot of talent on that offense. Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, the much maligned Randall Cobb. But it was bad. But then people were pointing out, man, Troy Aikman was really bad his rookie season. Like, really bad.
Really bad.
And in today's NFL, Troy Aikman wouldn't have benefited from a second chance. There would have been calls from a Dallas fan base to get him out of there. What a terrible draft pick.
That's interesting. I don't think people realize because he won 3 Super Bowls, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, just like how like the numbers do not stand out for Troy Aikman. Go look up the
They're a
stats.
bit pedestrian. They're a bit pedestrian.
We have
think?
a modern day example right now where the narrative's changed. Like, I'm sure Garoppolo's passing numbers compared to Troy Aikman would be fairly comparable. I mean, Jimmy Gray, I know it's a different age in NFL offense, and also Troy Aikman was aided by one of the best running attacks in NFL history.
Aikman played for 11 years. Find a quarterback in the NFL, current quarterback, and Kirk Cousins. I guarantee you Cousins probably. How many years has Cousins played? Is it close to 11 years?
He was in that
Because he's
RG3 class.
outperforming Troy Aikman.
He's
just with
2012, class
stats.
of 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's,
Do you guys think Cousins has better stats than Aikman?
yeah, I would say yes.
I think you're probably
I would
right.
assume so.
He's thrown for 30,000 yards.
Who has?
Kirk Cousins.
All right, so I think Aikman finished with just north of 32,000 for his career,
Yeah, he's gonna be Kirk Cousins is gonna be a more prolific passer.
but won't make the Hall of Fame.
No, not at all. Because of perception.
206 touchdowns, 86 picks for Kirk Cousins. 206 and 86 right now as it stands.
It's a very interesting time to evaluate quarterbacks because everyone thinks they're an expert. Everyone screen caps the all 22, and everyone has a PFF login. and this shapes it. And it's good to a degree, but I also think it's too much knowledge because we're missing very key variables. What are they supposed to be doing?
Do you want to hear Troy Aikman's career stats?
Yeah.
32,000, basically 33,000 yards, 165 touchdowns, 141 picks.
Russell Wilson has 277 career touchdowns.
Wait, Mahomes has played 5 seasons. Does he have more touchdown passes? I think he probably does.
He's got 165. Troy Aikman does.
So, okay, 165 for Aikman. What does Mahomes have? He's going to have more touchdowns, right? He's played like 3.5 years.
He's got 134.
I might catch him this year.
This season.
He's got 134.
He could if he gets really hot towards the end.
Not this year.
That's right.
Exactly right.
Always there.
Funny.
Yeah, Cousins may pass Troy Aikman this season.
For sure.
It honestly makes like the Dan Marinos, Fran Tarkentons. What they did was honestly more like because these guys are actually in the conversation with.
No, Marino has numbers that actually stack up against these quarterbacks.
Marino,
Yes.
if you look back,
LA
you're like,
Marino.
how the hell?
Yep.
Yeah, Marino's offense. I was too small to remember what was going on there. That was closer to your day.
I do.
Stugotz.
I missed out. I missed
out.
out on Marino Prime by like 2 years. When I started like finally watching, it was just like it was at the end. Like his receivers were gone, Clayton and Duper, obviously, but it's just like
I do the ring.
I don't have a memory of good Marino.
I do the rings thing all the time. But Dan Marino, like he was the greatest thrower of the football. It was like
Is it kind of like Stafford now? You watch Stafford throw, and it just looks different than
Kinda
most
like
other
Herbert.
guys.
it's kind of like Herbert.
It's kind of like Herbert. That's what I was thinking.
It was so effortless and such a quick release, and he was so good in that offense. The defense was never great, but the offense was always great. And like at least Dolphin fans had that. They had an entertaining quarterback, maybe the greatest pure quarterback of all time, and an offense that would give you, 20 to 35 points every
Some
week.
solid lettuce too with the curls.
Oh, great lettuce, great quarterback here. I mean, not as good as Herbert, but
Do we want to
certainly in the
rank quarterback
conversation.
here?
Ooh. See, I would put. It's funny what a struggling win-loss record does. I would have put Mahomes in my top 5. Now I don't like the hair.
For best quarterback here?
Now I think he needs to change up the look.
Are we doing this season or are we doing kind of
Ever.
the last 20 years?
Ever.
Oh, ever. Okay, wow.
Marino's in there, right, Mike?
No.
We agree, Herbert.
Herbert might make it. This is a really good
I would say
top 5
07
idea.
Brady, long hair.
Yeah. Well, I think you can just put Tom Brady because every
All the
evolving look.
hairstyles? Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm putting out. There's a lot of people with good hair right now. Ooh, I'd rather do the worst hair at quarterback.
Okay.
All right, you guys do the best hair. I'm going to do the worst hair at quarterback. Okay.
Trying to think if Trevor Lawrence has good quarterback hair or bad quarterback
It's
hair.
too long.
It's above average.
I think it's a little too long.
Quarterback
white
hair.
Clipboard Jesus.
You have to have a little sticking out of the back of the helmet. Just like think of Justin Herbert. That's
Yes,
what
but that's the
think
thing. Is it
Steve
too long?
Barkowski had
I
great
think
quarterback hair.
Watching what
Look
the
him up.
player does to the hair right before they put the helmet on is key. Whether it's like a whip back, like or something like I feel like that's where you get a good sense of the hairs when they're putting on the helmet. Do they need to move it from their eyes? Like
Yeah.
I was just
I also give extra points for an iconic look because I think whatever you think about Patrick Mahomes' hair, it's iconic. When you think of him, you think of the headband and the way the hair is.
yeah.
Like I wouldn't even say Terry Bradshaw had bad hair because it was so memorable.
Right.
It was an
Horseshoe.
iconic look.
Is he in the running for best hair?
Terry Bradshaw?
Yeah.
I'm willing to hear an argument for it.
I mean,
Honestly.
what guy who plays at that position on that team looks like that? I mean,
We
It's
were
hard.
robbed of this with Andrew Luck. You realize
Yeah, I
that.
know.
Andrew Luck was working his way to it.
I think peak Roethlisberger had pretty good quarterback hair.
No, not at all. for
But
me.
Mike, it's the way it comes out of the helmet.
No.
No?
did he have long hair at times?
I think so, yeah.
He had long hair once. It just,
Richard
It
Todd
looked
had
bad.
very good quarterback hair, by the way.
yeah. I like Russell Wilson's occasional haircuts. Yeah, I think Russell Wilson looks cool. But then he has to do the Mr. Unlimited stuff. And
not so cool.
not so cool.
Worst quarterback hair.
Michael Vick.
He had cool
Yeah, that's
quarterback hair.
iconic.
Yeah.
That's for sure iconic. I remember the commercials for when the Vic shoes, the Vic cleats came out, and it was just like, Michael Vick is really cool.
You guys have your top 5s
I
ready?
don't know where we stand on that though.
He did his time.
Did his bid.
What are you gonna
I
do?
think he's part of broadcast now. we're willing to accept that he's no longer that person.
I still can't believe
Reformed.
Stugotz.
I
that
forgive, but never forget.
You were invited to a draft party where the Jets had like the #1 pick, and at the time Michael Vick was the quarterback.
I know.
Bryant McKinney's house, and you didn't go.
I know. The cross mitzvah.
Even back then.
Should have went, though. Billy's right.
That is one of those things that, like, I feel like, is that going to be a successful party for you? Like, I feel like it's
Probably
cool to
not.
just say
Why
you
wouldn't
went.
it be?
Stugotz is not really hanging.
What do you mean?
What are you talking
You
about?
think you
What's
can
that
hang with
supposed to mean?
McKinney? Why not?
What do you mean by that?
I
Explain
just
it.
don't see Stugotz as a guy that like really gets after it.
Why? Bree Beauty was there.
Yep.
I'm just gonna turn my mic off.
Yep. Thanks.
I'm ready with my top 5 worst hairs.
Who's been writing our best hairs?
I don't
Chris?
know. I got distracted.
I think, you know what? Once you go Herbert, I can't really find anyone else other than Steve Barkowski.
Number 5,
Yeah.
Andrew Luck.
But there are 4 worse than Andrew Luck?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Number 4, Bart Starr. Number 3, Drew Brees.
Yeah. Terrible head of lettuce.
Number
I
2,
don't know.
Chris Chandler.
Yeah. It's good.
And number 1 is Y.A. Tittle.
Peyton Manning, not great hair. I feel like
No.
that could have been on
So
there.
I almost had Peyton in my list, but when you combine it with his forehead, it became iconic.
Yeah.
That's true.
I want you guys to look someone up, okay? I have not looked it up. His name is Dan Pastorini. All right? And tell me if you think good hair, bad hair. But it has to be hair and a helmet, okay? Dan
Like a
Pastorini.
Brady Bunch vibe.
No?
Does have a Brady Bunch vibe. It's fine.
All right.
Solid hair.
Okay.
Not doing it for me.
All right.
Career 103 touchdowns for 161 interceptions.
Pastorini.
But I can do a top 5 just on the Oilers Titans franchise now with this information.
Ooh.
Top 5 heads of hair.
Jim
Quarter-
McMahon
Do
had bad hair.
Bottom 5 or top 5?
McMahon did have bad hair.
Nah, iconic, but for the wrong reasons, right?
I'm gonna go. Chandler's in that top 5 too.
Elway had good quarterback hair, no?
Yeah.
He did.
Oh,
Yeah.
he did. For
Yeah.
a time.
That was good.
Is this good?
Roger Staubach had good,
Oh, like we lost steam.
we did.
We'll end it at the Y.A. Tittle.
How do you add steam to something?
Ooh, good question.
You add coal.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Depending on the heating mechanism, yeah.
That would make it smoky.
No.
Nah.
No.
Yeah, but it's the coal goes
Yeah.
into the fire
Under
that
the
heats up the
cauldron.
water
Exactly.
that shoots out the steam.
Yeah.
Steam engine.
Boom. Steam engine.
Powered by the
right.
good people at coal.
Mhm.
It's soup season.
Is it?
It's soup season. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's soup
Are
season.
you the
I made soup. That's how I know
Your
it's soup
first
season.
soup of the season?
I made my first soup of the season.
What was it?
It was close to an Italian wedding soup.
I
Okay.
love Italian wedding soup.
Yeah, so
How
I had
close?
I did the
Yeah, how close?
I did a delivery with HelloFresh. So this was more like red tomato sauce based than your traditional Italian wedding soup.
Huh?
Yeah, and they were supposed to send me tomato paste. Didn't get the tomato paste.
Oh, boy.
So
Big
like,
key. You need that one.
Boy, oh boy.
I kind of have like a very transparent Italian themed soup here, and I was really talking myself into a red based sauce for this soup. So I thought quickly. I knew I had some.
Ketchup.
I had considered the ketchup, but I'm like, that is going to be far too tart. And I found tomato sauce,
Okay.
so I poured some in there. It's a shame because you throw the majority of it away.
Soup's only an appetizer.
I agree.
No, this was
Of
super
course.
hearty.
No, I disagree.
No,
I would say there's-
I
I'm with you,
chopped
Chris.
carrots. No, this was
No.
super hearty. It
Well,
had
hold
chicken
on.
sausage.
Is beef stew a soup or a
No, that's
or
a
a
stew.
That's a
meal?
stew.
That's a
Stew,
stew.
yeah.
That's a
It's
stew.
a stew,
yeah,
stew.
totally
I would
different,
say I would say matzo ball soup is something you could have as a meal.
Absolutely.
Good
What's
app.
up that big matzo ball too?
Well, it's got the matzo ball,
takes a lot of
noodles,
space,
chicken,
yeah.
carrots.
Better as an app.
Yeah, it's
Pho.
fantastic.
Pho is basically
Better
a
yeah,
soup.
pho is a soup.
Yeah.
No.
You go pho or pho. Now
Pho.
it's
It's
pho.
pho. Yeah.
Well, I know it's pho, but kind of feel very inappropriate saying.
You remember
pho.
I almost said it on ESPN radio one time?
Yeah.
I said pho?
yeah.
Then I started
Could
questioning
be.
your judgment.
Yeah.
Could you get a big bowl of French onion soup and
No.
call it
No.
lunch?
Always an app.
Never.
How about
If,
New
if
England?
I go to
How about
dinner with
clam
you
chowder?
and you order soup as your
And
main
that's it?
meal,
Yeah,
I'm making some faces.
Clam has a pro. is a
and I would
protein.
understand if you made faces.
Clam chowder is if a restaurant has clam chowder soup, it's like 85% I'm getting it as
You
an
dip
app.
stuff in your soup
Nice.
sometimes.
A little bread. Yeah.
You want
That's
New England?
crackers.
I like
like
the oyster,
Manhattan,
the
right?
oyster
the
crackers.
oyster
are the
crackers.
best.
I
Those are
see-
so good.
I actually like just crumbling up a saltine.
Mhm.
Really?
I like
There
the
you
square
go.
saltine.
No, those
and
little
you-
oyster
Nah.
crackers.
I don't like it
just
too.
dump the
No,
whole
no.
bag
Don't get me
in.
wrong. I
Throw it
don't like
down.
it too crushed. I like to give it like 2 squeezes. Boom, boom. So you get like some big chunks, but not.
But you don't have to squeeze the oyster crackers. They
Yeah.
just exist.
But it's New England clam chowder that you like,
Yeah.
not the Manhattan. Manhattan, it's like a totally different
Nobody
soup.
eats that.
Yeah.
What about like the bread bowls for soup?
Oh,
I think it's a ripoff.
Love it.
Oh.
What?
But
You don't
that's a
get as
meal.
much soup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
you
you
get
get
to
bread.
eat the
That-
bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude,
but,
at Panera, the broccoli and cheese
cheddar
bread
and a bread
bowl.
bowl.
I
I
mean,
love
That is a top
Panera.
5 soup.
that is
Oh,
a
God.
that
I'll just
is
get a
an
bread.
amazing soup.
I can do
No.
my
Get a
top
bread
5
with it.
favorite soups.
Yeah,
No,
let's do
don't
that,
be silly.
please.
They
All
give
right.
you a
Stand by.
side, and I get a side of bread. They're like,
Whoa.
with
Yeah.
your bread bowl, would
Oh,
you like
God,
more
I love
bread,
bread.
or would you
Chips
like
or
fruit?
apple?
I'm like, fruit.
I love bread.
Give me more bread. I never touch the spoon. I never, because I always am
No,
dipping
just lick
bread
it.
as
Yeah, you put your face in it and you
Yep.
just look at
Mm-hmm.
Do you actually laugh like that when they ask you that
apple.
question?
Yeah, I'll have an apple with my broccoli and cheese.
We tried to pull a fast one on Chris last week, Tony and myself. We were doing croqueta tasting.
Yeah.
And we tried to convince him that the plates were edible.
Yeah.
Wasn't our best sell.
Yeah.
No.
Why would the plates have been edible?
Well, they looked like maybe.
They
They
were
looked a little
cardboard.
edible.
With
They
me,
look
with me, you got to
possible.
just shoot your shot. You just shoot
Yeah.
your shot and you see if I bite.
And the idiot didn't eat it, and now he missed out on the edible plates.
I think I took a bite more than he did.
I think there's still some here if you want to try now.
I will.
Okay.
Top 5 soups.
I have my top 5 soups.
Wow.
She did that
That was
quickly.
quick, yeah.
I mean, she,
Is it soup
she's
season,
thought about
Jessica?
You know what? It felt a little bit like soup season started this past weekend in Miami. I
Soft
I
opening?
wore long sleeves and pants. It was a little chilly in the air, but it wasn't cold. I don't know.
You
Soup
agree? It's an
season for
appetizer
me
food, though, right? You
starts
agree?
when the leaves change.
Appetizer.
Well,
There are
then
no
There are
leaves.
no
yeah,
leaves
there's no-
here.
There's
no
palm
leaves. There's
fronds.
zero
trees.
leaves.
No.
They change when they're dying.
So I guess this is as close to soup
King Tide
season as
season,
we'll
too.
get. It is
Okay.
King Tide
Don't get
season.
into
Thank you,
that.
Tony.
That's a whole nother thing.
We should probably talk about that
SZN.
at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My number 5 soup, Frogmore stew.
Can you
It's like
explain what that
it's
is?
a low country boil essentially in broth.
So it's a boil.
Yeah,
It's a stew.
it's a stew.
Huh.
Does that count?
It's a stew.
No.
We
Yeah.
said before beef stew didn't count.
Well,
No, I think a stew counts as a soup. You eat it with a spoon.
that's, well,
This is my
It's our list.
this
It's your
is my
list,
list.
yeah, come on.
Number 4, pasta e fagioli.
Good answer. Good answer.
Pasta fagioli.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
For the uninitiated, can you walk us through this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give us a
no.
little breakdown of what
We
these
know,
soups
but
are.
for
Soup
those
with
who
little
don't,
pasta.
For
yeah.
those who don't, yeah.
Give us
yeah.
like
So it
top
has,
5
like-
ingredients.
It has like a white bean in it,
Hmm.
and it has a little tiny baby pasta,
Baby
Oh,
a
pasta.
little
cute.
small
Pasta.
pasta.
Hmm.
It's very good. It's tomato based, probably similar to what Mike's tomato based Italian wedding soup ended up tasting like. But yeah, pasta and beans, pasta fagioli.
Mm.
Number 3, broccoli and cheddar in a bread bowl.
Now it has to be in a bread
Has
bowl.
to be in a bread bowl.
Interesting.
You have to
Once
dip
you go
the
bread bowl, you
bread
can't go back.
in the
Mm.
broccoli
It's
and cheddar
very
soup.
difficult
Not
to
true.
eat broccoli
I've
and
heard
cheddar
that.
soup
I've-
from a regular bowl.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just
you
a
can't.
sad
I don't think
it's
almost
too
impossible.
decadent. Just
It's
get
very
the
sad.
bread.
Too
Impossible.
decadent for me.
It is very
Or eating it
decadent.
straight out
I
of your
read a
hands after eating
recipe
a
for
bread
broccoli
bowl.
and cheddar soup once, and I was just dumbfounded with how much cheese is in that thing.
It's broccoli and
Mhm.
cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the ingredient.
It's the
come
main
on.
ingredient. Well,
Come on,
second
Tony.
ingredient.
It's like little shrapnel pieces of broccoli, though.
So
Yeah.
good.
Broccoli and cheese.
Less
No,
on the
come on.
broccoli, more on the cheese. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Number
Like a
2,
fondue almost.
Italian wedding soup. Now, there's a recipe for Italian wedding soup in the New York Times cooking app. That is turkey meatballs, which I've never tried before, except when I saw this recipe, I decided to make it. Highly recommend the soup to anyone who's looking for a new soup, a new spin on Italian wedding soup. Turkey meatball Italian wedding soup. It is delightful.
I have to shave my beard. Just realized that. It's not a Movember thing.
Hmm.
I have to shave it for soup season.
Wow.
Interesting.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, there was a Titans assistant coach that had a famously long beard, and he's like, my wife doesn't like him, plus it's soup season.
Mm.
I'm like, I get that because it
Gets in the beard.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You know what I was thinking would be fun, Tony?
What?
I feel like you might be with me on this because you said you saw the recipe in the New York Times, right?
Yes. They have great recipes. If you like to bake and cook, highly recommend.
How about this? We do like a little cross promotion for the NYT. We have recipes,
Mm-hmm.
but they're the answers to the crossword puzzles.
Wow.
So you
Oh
don't
my
know what it is that you're
gosh.
cooking
Galaxy
until you,
Brain.
you start solving the crossword
Yes.
puzzle,
Good
and then you know the ingredients.
So before I give number
You just blew
one,
my mind.
I can't think of anything whiter than the New York Times crossword puzzle having the answer be recipes from the New York Times
Cross
cooking app.
promotion. I get it though.
That
Sopa de
is-
pollo could be in there.
Well,
kind
that's our
it's
tough
kind of
one.
genius though.
Yeah.
You should
there's-
work for
that's
their
a different-
That
marketing
is a
department.
great
Thank you.
idea, Billy. That's one of your best ideas ever.
Thanks.
Little
Well,
cross promo. I like it.
I don't know if that's complimentary.
Literally.
No.
cross
That,
promo.
if, in a vacuum, it is a tremendous idea. You've had better ideas that are specific to the show. But if I'm a New York Times employee, I'm jumping all over this.
I feel like Mina would be on top of that. She loves the
It's
crossword.
incredible. It's an
How does she
incredible
feel
idea.
about soup?
Oh,
I'll
let's
ask her
call
right now.
I feel like being in a vacuum would suck.
Let's all text Mina. What
much
are your
air.
thoughts on
She still
soup?
hasn't
That was
answered my
funny.
other one.
Very
You wanna-
uncomfortable.
all right,
Did
we're
you
all
do
gonna
that
we're all
as a
gonna text
wordplay
Mina at the
on
same
purpose?
time.
She seems to have a 4 down with me.
All right.
Oh
we're
wait, no, I'm not
That was
ready. Wait,
beef, in
we're
case
texting
you're
Mina.
wondering.
right?
Texting, hold on, you
Hold
guys
on,
texting me
hold
now?
on.
What,
What are we
are your
saying?
yeah?
What are we gonna
What are
text
we
her? What's the
asking her?
exact phrase?
What are your thoughts on
What
soup?
are your thoughts on soup?
Yeah.
Are you ready to send?
Hold on.
Ready.
Now. What are
One.
your thoughts? 1 sec.
What are your thoughts on soup? How can it take more than 2 seconds to
All
type
right,
that?
ready, go.
Sent.
Sent, delivered.
Delivered.
Signed, sealed, delivered. Before I give my number one soup,
Can I get
I will
another
give an
red?
honorable mention to tortilla soup. I love
I
tortilla
love
soup.
tortilla.
Yes.
Thank you
Very
very
good.
much.
Underrated
Yes.
soup.
I got a response.
Whoa.
Wow, Billy.
I feel good. I think I may have jumped the gun now.
Tortilla soup is OLI?
She said
Outside
be more
looking in?
specific.
Yeah.
It's like a 5A, I would say.
Mm,
5A. Well, maybe
5A?
5B.
okay.
Maybe just 5. Maybe I'll just bump it up to 5. I really like tortilla soup. I love tortillas. I love all
Okay.
the ingredients.
I like the
that go
tortilla
into
strips
it.
inside when they get a
Yes.
little soggy.
The tortilla
That's
strips
good.
and a little dollop of sour cream on top.
A little avocado swimming in
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
we got dots. Oh, they're gone.
I don't have any dots.
Damn it, the dots are gone.
I think Billy's getting the dots.
There's really like too many good soups to rank them all. Like I really like a tomato soup with a grilled cheese,
Oh,
but
yeah.
not a
Mm,
That's the
not a
only
standalone.
acceptable. That's the
Yeah.
only main dish acceptable soup because if it's with a grilled
It
cheese,
accompanies
you
a
can dip
sandwich?
it. Yes, I'll accept
but
that.
not a standalone tomato soup.
No,
Standalone
no, no,
tomato
no,
soup,
no,
you're
no.
basically drinking a Bloody
Right,
Mary.
right. Yeah. Throw a little vodka in there.
There's also, have you guys ever had like a white bean chili, like with
Mhm.
pulled
Oh, I
chicken?
love a
I
white
have.
bean
Love
chili.
it.
It's a really solid soup.
Cheesecake Factory makes a solid white bean
They
chili.
do.
Really, I've never been to a Cheesecake Factory.
What?
I've heard so much about them. I've never been.
Well, Mike, we got to get in touch with Cheesecake.
It's not a local thing.
We'll get in touch with them.
I mean, it's
I'll do
really
it.
how did
The national chain. I mean,
yeah, how'd you not go to Cheesecake Factory like in the 90s when chain restaurants were
my
at their
family,
apex?
we went to a lot of like Chili's. Like Chili's was probably
Ah,
our main
Chili's,
restaurant.
2 for
I could go to
$20.
Chili's, but not cheesecake.
It was
Yes.
closer
baked
to our
potato
house,
soup.
and
And
I
it's
also
better.
think they have
And
Baked
it's
better,
potato
better.
soup,
better
And it's
underrated
dishes.
better.
soup.
Baked
Yeah.
potato soup is
And I think my
fantastic.
parents probably wanted the margs.
Have you been to Grand Lux Cafe?
Never
It's
heard
like
of
the,
it.
it's
Very
like
good.
the-
It's like
a
an upgrade.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the super nice.
Yes.
I also wonder if you guys like potato soup.
I like potato
Love
soup.
Like
it. We
baked
just said
potato
it.
soup?
Like baked
Yeah.
potato soup where it has like the bacon and the chives.
Yeah, that's what we
Yeah,
were
yeah.
saying. Baked potato
We
soup.
just
We don't
said
call it
that.
potato soup though. We call it baked potato
Okay,
soup.
Mhm.
well, baked potato soup.
Okay.
Potato.
Potato soup makes
potato,
it seem like it's just potato in there, and I
potato.
don't like that.
Man, I just searched soup season on Twitter.
Yeah.
These videos are getting me slightly aroused at work.
Soup is really good. Avlagomeno
Look
soup,
at-
the Greek soup that has the potatoes.
I've got lemino.
There you go.
Did you name your number one soup yet?
No, not yet.
My number one soup. I don't know if
Edgelord cheer.
we're ready. We're waiting for Mina to text us back.
No. Just
Ooh.
give it
Look
to
at
us.
these soup highlight videos. that I
Is
just
this Emily
stumbled-
Mariko on TikTok? Because if you aren't following her, listeners, she has the cleanest kitchen I've ever seen in
Really?
my life. Have you ever seen
So,
these videos?
I still don't have a TikTok
I don't think she likes
because
me.
I told that I was
think she
told that it
has
was
my number.
communist China. that
My number
owns it.
one soup
These responses are not.
is oatmeal.
Oatmeal.
What?
How?
What? It's not even soup.
Amazing.
I
I'll
love
get outta
oatmeal.
here.
Can't believe you left Dave Campbell off your list.
That's a polarizing list.
Oatmeal.
Oatmeal's not a
Defend-
soup.
how is it a
Soup for
soup?
breakfast.
Defend
Eat it with a spoon.
Get out of
It's
here.
liquid. It's,
No.
I mean, that's like
Yeah.
Captain Crunch is a
You
soup.
don't have to chew
I
it.
mean,
Ooh, wow.
It could be though.
I think cereal
So
could
is
be a
every
soup
cereal a soup?
if it's soggy enough. Here, oatmeal, you don't chew it. You eat it with a spoon.
Well, you do chew it.
No,
Because
you
what
don't.
if there's a blueberry
You
in
don't chew
there?
pudding
A little
and you
I
granola.
eat it
didn't
with a
say
spoon.
blueberry oatmeal.
Hold on.
regular.
You
don't
mash it
mash.
with your tongue and
Wait,
top of your
just
guys get
mouth.
rolled
mashed?
oats. That's all you eat.
Keep
Rolled
going
oats?
with the soup qualifications.
You eat it with a spoon.
Mhm.
You don't really have to chew it. Although some soups you do have to.
A lot of
to
those
chew,
soups you mentioned.
Some
which
solid-
would be
lot
a
of chewing.
point in oatmeal's favor. I should add.
Wait.
Oh, you didn't chew.
So pro or con on the chewing?
You don't have to chew it, but chewing
Not a
lack of
requirement,
chewing
not a
helps.
requirement.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think you need
That's
much
it?
else. Like it's served in a
What
bowl.
about a bowl of Jello?
Jello could be a soup. It's more of a solid though.
Mashed
'cause
potatoes.
It's firm. Oatmeal's not solid. It's more liquid.
I feel like mashed potatoes and oatmeal have a very similar consistency.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, but mashed potatoes aren't liquid. Again, they're a solid.
but if I put a lot of butter,
But neither is oatmeal.
Yeah.
Oatmeal's a
It
solid.
depends. I mean, if you make it with a lot of liquid, it's a liquid.
I like to put
Hmm.
like less water than they ask for. I don't like it when it's too watery. I prefer a chunky oatmeal than a watery oatmeal. If you had to have either one, if you didn't have the perfect consistency, would you rather it be too chunky or too watery?
Oatmeal?
Yeah.
Too chunky.
Yeah, same.
And also think about the way that you make oatmeal. You put it in a pot, a liquid in a pot, and then you cook oats into it. That's kind of how you make soup. You have a stock, and then you add ingredients to it, and you
Right.
cook it to a certain temperature, and then you eat it.
Oh,
and it's
dude, the stock, I could pour the socks directly into my mouth.
Big
I
stock
have.
guy.
I have with HelloFresh.
I would say HelloFresh, the one thing I learned, I don't use them as much lately, but I learned to make sauce. It teaches you how to like make a sauce for
Yeah,
stuff.
with
'Cause I used
stock.
to just make like a meat and then a side, but like that has made me a better sauce.
expanded
Made me
your
a really
horizon.
good
Yeah.
cook. What I do now is I keep the recipes from HelloFresh that I really like,
Store them away.
and
Yeah.
I store them, and then I revisit the recipes with my own ingredients
Yeah,
for
smart.
larger parties, which is big for soup season.
So one time last year, during peak pandemic, kind of was running out of things to make and do. I decided to make a cauliflower soup.
That seems.
So, cauliflower
Isn't
soup.
that more of like a cauliflower puree and then
Kind of, yeah. I mean, really,
You just add a lot of
realistically,
water?
yes. There was like onions in it and carrots and then cauliflower. Cauliflower has kind of a pungent smell and taste once
Yeah,
it's
it
been
does.
steamed. It's
Powerful.
unpleasant.
I don't like it.
And the texture also of like pureed cauliflower is a little mealy. But I made the mistake of doing a cauliflower soup, not with a white cauliflower, but with a purple one. And it
Whoa.
I
looked
like that.
terrible.
Do you have pics?
It was the ugliest looking thing I've ever made. And it honestly
It tastes the same, right?
It tasted fine, but it looked
It was just
so
purple, right?
disgusting. But it was purple, but then with like the carrot in it, it was like
Purple and
brown.
orange.
It was
Ugh.
disgusting. It looked foul, but it tasted fine. But like I could not bring myself to eat it because of how gross it looked. So show you some pics.
I'm seeing that you left a very important soup out of your top 5.
What soup is that?
Sopa de pollo. Yeah, la carreta style.
Have you ever been sick in Miami?
I
like-
don't
like-
know. Have I?
Have
you
you?
travel
That's
a lot,
question
but
for
have you ever had a cold here as a Miamian?
I think so. Yeah.
And you didn't have sopa de pollo?
No.
With a lime inside? Oh, you gotta
Oh.
put the lime.
No.
See, it really is.
Is that what you're supposed to eat when you're?
That's the only
Do
thing
you
you can
eat
eat.
soup or do you drink soup?
That one.
Eat it.
I mean, that one you eat. That
If
one's
you're using
hearty.
a spoon, you're eating, right? If you happen to not use a spoon and you like slurp the whole thing, that's
but
then
how
that's
about with a
drinking.
milkshake? Are you eating a milkshake with the?
It's a straw. You're drinking.
No, with a spoon. Like you do the frosting.
I go with Daniel
Oh,
Day-Lewis
I
rules. He
forgot.
didn't say, I eat your milkshake.
You eat a frosty. And you
I
drink
forgot
a
miso
milkshake.
soup. Miso soup's fire.
Miso soup's good.
Miso soup's
Love
okay.
miso soup. I love tofu. Do you guys like tofu? Do you eat tofu or drink tofu? I guess it depends if it's,
It's like
silken or
Jell-O.
not.
Neither.
I don't know.
Kinda like Jell-O.
Miso conflicted.
Lewis says you mash it with the root of your mouth.
I'm
More
with
of a-
Lewis on this one.
I'm more of a wonton.
Credit that the loser game show sounds are,
Very close together.
yeah, they're both
Why did
black.
Dan have a Tootsie Pop at Mas o Menos? Did anyone notice this? There's pictures floating around. You
I
just,
just
see
saw,
Dan
yeah.
eating
Hmm.
like a Tootsie Pop. Did you see like
I figured he got it
is
from
he
you.
trying to like ditch a habit or something? Like is he like I gotta
Why don't we ask him? Let's text him.
maybe
ready?
he like doesn't smoke cigars anymore, so he's like I'm feeling like I want a cigar, so give me a Tootsie Pop.
Should we all text Dan at the same time?
Ooh, no.
I never got a response from Mina.
Me neither. Did anyone
I
get a
saw
response
bubbles.
from Mina?
I
Then
did,
they went
but
away.
I produced her podcast, and I don't think she has my phone number.
She just said to me, "How so?" or something like that, and then I explained to her the situation with the crossword puzzle and all of that, and she just said, "Got it," and that was it. So I just said, "I'll put you down as pro soup," but I don't officially.
Was it a
know.
pro or con soup thing, or was it more of a bigger question? than that?
I mean, the question was just, "What are your thoughts on soup?" She said, "Be more specific."
Well, at least you got a reply.
I
guess we
mean,
know which one
last
he
time I
likes the
didn't
most.
though. So
Fair.
Dangerous game.
A couple segments in a row that we've just kind of petered out at the end.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
She had oatmeal as
yeah, it's tough.
This segment had everything. It had oatmeal as a soup.
Uh-huh.
It had Chris Chandler's hairline.
Mhm.
Yep.
It had Stugotz for half of it.
Oh, he's gone?
And while we're at it, Stugotz, can you just update a month's worth of polls? Go back to the beginning of November. We
Okay.
have been woefully negligent, and we've heard you complaining, saying, hey, update some of these things. So let's reminisce about some old shows here just this month by updating all the polls from this month, please.
All right, going back to November 1st here. Does Ben Roethlisberger have one more play in him? Just a single play. 57% of the audience said no. He's made a play since then, since
Wow.
November 1st. He
Wow.
has made a play.
So the audience
Yeah.
says not even one more play in him. Okay.
Yeah. Could Andy Dalton have done that? What were we talking about? Oh, the Justin Fields
Justin
touchdown.
Fields run
Yeah,
from
that's
2
right.
weeks ago in a loss. Yeah.
They lost that game, right? They lost by a lot.
It's funny to imagine.
That was a close game with the Niners.
It's funny to imagine Andy Dalton pirouetting athletically all over the field, though.
67% of the audience said no. 4th of July. I just want some dogs and to blow shit up.
Oh, yeah.
90% of the audience said yes.
I told you guys I set fire to my father-in-law's house with a fireworks show a couple of years ago.
You did?
What?
is everyone okay?
You guys don't remember this?
I remember hearing.
Father-in-law's house.
It had to be recent because you've only had a father-in-law very recently.
That is correct. A couple of years ago, his house caught fire because I shouldn't say I set fire to his house,
That's
but
right,
I
plausible
didn't.
deniability.
I didn't notice that he was setting off some fireworks and then he threw it in a garbage can, and he and I had not made sure that the embers were sufficiently out, and the fire took the house, took the garage portion of the house.
You got to be careful on the 4th of July. A lot of things go wrong on the 4th of July. It's a holiday that a lot of people drink heavily at. So just practice firework responsibility.
Wow, thank you, Mike, for that public message.
Has Billy ever been more efficient, though, when he says, I just want some dogs and to blow shit up?
I mean, that is what 4th of July should be.
July, man. Hot dogs.
90% of the audience agrees. Were the Heat playing against Joey Crawford? 86% of the audience said yes.
Across a decade.
Mm-hmm. Is the Super Bowl more enjoyable if your team isn't in it? I think it is, but I'm used to it. 60.5% of the audience said yes.
You spent that whole show arguing the opposite.
I know. That was then. This is now. Stay in the now, Bill. I got to scroll up here. Off the looking glass. What is this? Off the looking glass?
It's a new podcast.
Oh, okay.
Jessica Smetana
Oh,
and
nice.
Kate Fagan.
Mm.
You should subscribe to that.
I will.
And support it, yeah.
He's getting to it.
Mhm.
And
Say,
you
what the
shouldn't,
hell
when
is
you're
that?
reading it for the first time, you shouldn't sound like you're reading it for the first
Yeah.
time.
Or that you don't know what
Sorry
it is
about
as
that.
part of the Lebitard and
My
Friends
apologies.
Network.
There's a lot
So-
going on here. You guys, listen, you're movers and shakers making a lot of deals. It's hard to keep up. I'm sorry.
This is on you.
It is. Do the Broncos have a chance?
That was 2 weeks ago.
But it was just for Super Bowl chance, not a chance against Dallas.
That's not how it's framed on the poll.
91% of the audience said no.
2 wins since then.
Exactly
including one in
right.
Dallas.
After
Thanks.
a month of losses.
Mhm.
NFC East. Penicillin for a lot of AFC West teams.
Does everyone like whipping out a cornucopia? Am I saying that right? I don't.
Yes.
Okay. 65% of the audience said yes. Is Ron a fan of a kidnapping bird?
He is. Ron McGill, he endorses the harpy eagle, which snatches and abducts children.
90% of the audience said yes. Are most Fleetwood Mac songs overrated? Wow. 50.9% of the audience said no. It's a close one, Dan.
Only because young people don't appreciate Fleetwood
You're
I
Mac.
couldn't
exactly
name a song.
right.
If like my life was on the line and it was like name a Fleetwood Mac song, I don't think I could.
Sweet Little Lies.
Is that real?
It's my favorite song.
Landslide.
Such nonsense.
Go
from
your own
you.
way.
That's your favorite song. Can you guys remind me in a month? Remind me a month from now to ask Stugotz what his favorite song is and see what his answer is. Please set it in a calendar somewhere so that we can ask him what his favorite song was a month ago,
Write
and
it
he
down
could say
somewhere.
that was then, this is now.
Is Stevie a liar? Speaking of liars,
Stevie Nicks.
I don't know.
Wonder?
I have no idea.
Who was Stevie? I don't remember who Stevie
Our
was. either.
intern?
I don't remember who Stevie was.
don't know.
But we're calling him a liar, whoever he was.
We were talking about Fleetwood Mac. We were talking about Ron being a fan of kidnapping birds.
you
I'm
for
trying to draw
updating
your
the
memory,
pulse.
okay? I
Yeah,
mean,
just keep it
this is
moving.
November 2nd.
Just
Is
keep it
Stevie a
moving.
liar?
Just keep it moving.
Who are we talking about, though?
Context clues would suggest Stevie Nicks, but I don't think so.
All right. 90% of the audience said yes.
I remember who it was.
Who?
It was Steve, the Sports Center guy. It had to do with
Steve
Steve
Levy.
Levy. Yeah. What was he
Levy.
lying
Oh,
about?
that's right. It was Steve Levy was saying that he would not kick the plug out on the ManningCast to
Yes,
stop them from
yes.
getting popular.
That's
And
right.
instead of calling him Steve Levy,
Yeah.
I called him Stevie by mistake. And so Guillermo the Anarchist not only
I put what I
sabotaged
was
that
asked.
show and
Yeah.
that poll, but also this one by making us get stuck
Brought
on
it together.
Stevie.
Full circle. Stevie. Was he a liar?
Yes,
Yes,
90%.
yes,
Of course. Yeah.
Does Benjamin Bratt actually glow?
Yeah, he does. He does. Indisputably.
68% of the audience said yes. Seems like there's some dispute. I mean,
Not really.
do you like Pepper Jack? Who doesn't like Pepper Jack? I love
I
Pepper
don't.
Jack.
I
Really?
don't like, yeah, I don't like
What?
Pepper Jack.
Roy started this and it was offensive to me.
Wow.
83% of the audience said yes. Is a saltine the opposite of water? Great question. 87% of the audience said yes. I love a good saltine. I do.
Put on the poll, Guillermo. Do you love a good saltine?
Are you okay with parents and just parents having access to the All 22? It was a good show. This is November 3rd. Anytime you're talking All 22, you have done a good show.
You had the pacing of Christopher Walken while reading that one.
The Watch. 58% of the audience said yes. Scrolling up
It
here.
is
There's a lot here, Mike.
Such a bad impersonation that you do
I
of Christopher
don't-
Walken.
Disagree. Watch. Scrolling up here. Aaron. Dolphins. David Sampson, Local Hour. The Looking Glass. What is that? Mayor of Maple Avenue. What is that? Juju, man. Jeez, slow down. Whittingham. Moss sold out. When is that? I have something going on that weekend. I can't make it. Whatever weekend it is. I don't know what weekend it is, but I won't be there. Yeah.
All right, we'll update more of the polls later this
I'm
week.
getting there.
Later this week, we'll update more of the polls.
I haven't seen a poll in days. There's Dan crying. Aaron Rodgers. I didn't see this. This is the first time. This is why he's not responding. I mean, no. Holy shit, we're done.